Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Combined a Groundhog Day with an actual Hallmark movie. Oh, you all right?
You almost got a boomer moment. I haven't fixed the wheel yet on my chair. You almost got it. But I saved myself. I saved myself.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Because I can't prove whether Renaissance Nerd is telling you the truth or not. Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
It's haunting. I can't help myself. I when we were doing Engage last night and Ryan had to show us the pictures again, I couldn't stop. I just think must make haunting clip. I couldn't do it. God. Welcome, one and all, to I got him. I got him again. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Welcome, everybody, to Mellow Mondays, where we are just going to sit back, have a good time, have some conversations over some planned topics, and wherever discussions in the chat takes us. We're happy you're here with us today, and we're gonna have a nice chill time tonight. And as I was saying to Dell a few minutes ago, Kenzo, if you're watching this evening, I hope I don't look like your lesbian Nana anymore. But anyway, Devil, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. It's it's Monday.
Oh shit! Hang on a second. I'll be right back. I forgot to change out of my ratty ass cooking shirt. I'll be right back. I just realized there's a hole in my shirt, and I'm on stream. That's great. Hold on a second. God damn it.
Well, I'm in a leopard print thong, and I'm fine. I don't get what.
Sorry, guys. Hang on, get another shirt. Unfortunately, I have clean laundry. I am not a barbarian. There we go. No holes in my shirt. Wow, we're off to a great start, Devil.
You got a cooking shirt too? I have this really comfortable shirt. It has like 60 million stains, but it's the most comfortable thing for to cook in.
Well, it's basically, do I care if I get shit on this shirt? And that shirt is also the shirt I bring. It's one of the shirts remaining. It's one of my oldest shirts at this point. You can see it. The hole that was right here. My mom used to be in hair, so I've been getting haircuts from her my entire life. We're talking New York $1,000 priced haircuts. I have to, whenever I go to get a haircut these days, I bring the ratty ass shirts so that I can just throw them out. Why try and wash the hair out? So that shirt's on the list. So that's like my crap shirt, cleaning shirt, cooking shirt. And when I go get a haircut this weekend, that shirt's going bye-bye. Next one. But yeah, so hi everybody. We can YouTube really well, can't we? I want to announce this now. I made my choice, and Devil, since you said you want to be there, I invite you this Saturday, if you have the time, to join us on Saturday Night Drive-In for Tombstone.
I'll be there.
All right, Devil's going to be there. I know Mustang's going to be there, and Jed will be there. Jed's never seen it.
I can't believe that. That is crazy.
Jed's never seen it. Jed, we're going to do Tombstone. It's going to be great.
I don't think you get hair on your nuts till you watch it. I think it's like a man thing. You have to.
I'm your huckleberry.
Oh yeah, Val Kilmer. Hell yes, Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, fantastic cast in that movie. Just outstanding.
Oh yeah,
cast. So we're gonna have a good time. So Saturday Night Drive-In this weekend. We might start a little later because I just said it's a haircut weekend. So I kind of wanna. I need a little more prep time to get home. Probably start a little later. I'll talk it over with Jed, and Jed is probably watching because unless he's on Mario Kart or prepping for Cobra Kai, excuse me. So yeah, it's Tombstone. Gonna have a good time. I'm excited. I love that movie. That was a good year for movies.
Oh
What was
yeah.
that? 90, 91, 92. I hate it when it doesn't say it clearly where the fucking date is on the back of these things. I hate that. I look like an idiot here, and then I have to go to IMDb and go, "What's the date on this one?"
Does it say on the disc? Sometimes they have it in the bottom of the corner of the disc.
Let's see. Rated R. No. No, it just says the running time on it like it does on the back. Let's see over here on the inside of the. Remember when they used to have chapters on the little slits? There? Now this was an interesting pressing. Whenever I put it into play, I mean this. I have yet to update this to Blu-ray, obviously. Whenever I stick it in, it's shrunken on the screen. So I got to zoom in on it. No matter, it's one of those weird old DVDs where it shrinks it. Get to it. It's got to be here somewhere. If Legatus, he's gonna probably tell me the date any second now, make me look like an idiot. Let me see. Has he done it yet? No, he hasn't done it yet. Chat will say hi to you in 1 second as soon as I'm done with my boomer.
There's two type of men in this world: the ones who like Wyatt Earp and the ones who like Tombstone.
Wyatt Earp is so long and boring.
Yeah, it's too slow paced. Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It's just, it's not cool. It's not cool. All right, I'm gonna have to go to IMDb unless Legatus has gotten it. Am I gonna beat him to it? Let's see. And there's the delay. Tombstone. 1993. Okay. Did I beat him? I beat him by my calculations. I beat him because I don't see him in the chat yet. Anyway, yeah. So that was a good the early 90s. It's the tail end of that super classic era from the 80s where all the awesome movies were happening, and that batch of star, they knew what they could do, and they were multifaceted and talented. They could do a lot of different roles, and it was just good. It's just good.
Yeah, why can't we get good actors like that no more? I mean, all the ones I'd say are A tier, and I mean S tier usually are before that, like Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones and stuff. But yeah, you have from the Bruce Willis, you have freaking like I said, Russell Crowe, you have Val Kilmer, all those kind of generation. I'd say they're probably A, and now we just get shit. Now it's all D tier.
Yeah. Well, because they're all activists first.
Yeah.
Or they're that weird breed that wants to be everything. They want to do singing, they want to do acting, they don't choose one. The 40s, the 30s and the 40s and the 50s where there was true mega talent that could truly sing, act, and dance, do all of it. They were either just geniuses like Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire, or they were trained up to do it. Or you got a guy like Frank Sinatra who could sing and act and and be the freaking boss of the world.
Yeah. They got it because back then it was only if you could do all that stuff, if you were that talented, you got into Hollywood. It was very elite about it. Then you got people who got in, like I said, the A generation, I say, who got in because they're good actors. They don't have to be the prettiest, but they were good actors. Now it's all about the pretty. They put a pretty face in there and they can't act worth shit. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, here's the thing. Margot Robbie hit a payday today. She got $50 million because of Barbie's success today.
Yeah.
But name me, outside of the phenomena of Barbie, name me a Margot Robbie led movie or where she's sort of near the top with an ensemble. Name me something that it's been a mega success. You can't.
Yeah, I can.
She's essentially a pretty face.
Yeah. The closest thing you could say is Wolf of Wall Street, and she was just the eye candy. It was Leonardo DiCaprio that made the movie.
That was a DiCaprio vehicle, yeah. So she's a pretty face. She's not a super peak top, never once in a lifetime actress like Katharine Hepburn or Betty Davis. You know, she's not
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, she's not even like a Meryl Streep or like a Goldie Hawn level. She's
Yeah. Well, Goldie was great because Goldie made her bones at being a comedian first.
Yeah.
Laughing was so much fun.
she's really good because she knows what her range is, where she's supposed to be. Yeah. I one of my favorite movies is Overboard. I love that movie.
Right here, right there. I got her. I love that movie. That is such a good movie. I picked that up for $5 last year or a couple years ago, I think.
Nice.
It was such one of those. Oh, I'm surfing Amazon. I need $5 to get me my free shipping. Oh, look, Overboard, $5. Boom, go grab that. See, that's the thing. And you could when we mentioned Kurt Russell.
Yep.
I mean, and of course they're married. I mean, they weren't married, then they were married, and they are married. Whatever. They've been together for decades.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, the original Disney kid.
Yep.
He grew up when his entire career, early career, young life, from literal sub 10 years old to teenager, making those old school Disney family friendly live action movies that used to be on the video store.
Yeah, Human Computer wasn't there? Wasn't one of them called The Human Computer? And then there was the one where they eat the cereal and got real strong.
Yeah, I mean, and then he made like I don't know, I can't count how many, but he made a bunch, but he embodied everything that Walt wanted Disney to go forward. I mean, the rumors have it, and if Mustang was here, he would confirm that because we've had this discussion before, that Walt's wish was for Kurt to take over Disney when he died. That was his wish because Kurt Russell embodied the spirit of what it was supposed to be, and it didn't happen. Obviously, I mean, now Walt's brother Roy wasn't a bad second CEO, second president, but Kurt Russell, he knows exactly. And Kurt Russell, I mean, he can do comedy, he can do action, he can do series, he can do drama. One of those great versatile actors that is always enjoyable. I mean, even a dumb movie like Soldier is cool because his deadpan playing of the basically emotionless, soulless soldier that learns to love things is good. Somehow it's good. He's good. Movie may be but he's good. All right, hold on a second. Before we keep going deeper down this rabbit hole, which is what we like to do on this show, let's say hello to the chat. Hail to you, Jaden Hamilton. I've been reading some of this chat, and young man, you have chosen to enter the military in these United States. And my young friend, I hope that it is an honor that you're going to do this. I thank you for choosing to serve and protect our country. And I hope you find what you're looking for by entering the service. So, young man, you take care of yourself, and you take care of this country if you make it through your training. So I thank you, and I hope you are able to do that.
God bless you, dude.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck, man. Good luck, my young friend. Hail Legatus Legionus, along with Mustang. One of my mods, my regulars, help to keep the peace to make sure that you wild animals behave yourselves. Let's see. Well, we need. I need protection. I need protection. I'm careless. Hail to you, Algrim the Strong. I see you there. What did you miss? Nothing yet. We're just rambling. We are just rambling. Hello, my friend. We've already seen Samuel. We've already made him wince and cringe. That's good. Rocky the Black Dragon. Good evening to you. Hail the Bertus Liber. And let's see, scrolling on down. Want to make sure I don't miss any names. I have to do better, Devil. I have to do better saying hi to everybody throughout the stream. Sometimes we're so involved, the new people come in and I miss it. Anyway, and if you're just chilling out and not chatting, we're happy to have you here. We hope you enjoy the rest of whatever this show turns into tonight. But yeah, so there's perfect example of the utter trash is Rachel Zegler right now.
Yeah.
And she is a piece of work. I haven't made any dedicated videos to it because I'm not good at the grift, Devil. I should be good at the grift. I should be better at it. She's the thing that's driving numbers. But I've already complained about her in the past. I've done it. And yes, there's some new footage, but I'm kind of happy waiting until March.
Yeah.
When we get Snow Brown and the 7. I'm borrowing that one from Az. I know I am. But yeah, she is a monster though.
Yeah, I just saw her comments and I was like, oh my God. Yeah, this We don't need Prince Charming. Just everyone to watch me. No. Yeah, I don't get that. And the thing is, when you have no talent like she does, eventually, if you make yourself too toxic, they're gonna find some other pretty face.
Oh,
And that's
she's not even that much of a pretty face. The
Yeah.
unibrow and she's
Yeah.
got no body.
the girl who
and
plays
listen-
Wednesday is way hotter.
Oh, Jenna Ortega's way hotter. And Jenna
Yeah.
Ortega's, she's a little bit based.
Yeah.
Based. And Jenna Ortega cares
Yeah.
about what she does. And she's a good actress, too. Good
Yeah.
actress. She completely becoming Wednesday. And I was ready to be critical of it. I wanted it to be good, but I was ready to be critical of Wednesday because I'm an old school Addams Family fan. Man, she nailed it. She nailed it. And when you heard about how she was behaving on set, saying, "Can we make sure this is accurate to the character? Can we change this? Because I feel like Wednesday wouldn't do this." And of course the Nimrods picketing right now, going, "Yeah, she was changing our lines. Good luck without us." Yeah, she's gonna have a lot of luck without you. She gets the character more than you do.
Yeah. It's like Clint Eastwood said, if you're gonna go in Hollywood and you got to be good enough that they can't ignore you. And she's easily ignored. Like I said, she after this fails, because I put money on that this is gonna fail. She's after that people are gonna start second guessing.
Well-
Do we want her on our movie? And like I said, her talent doesn't cover up the fact that she's a frigid bitch.
Well, think about it like this too. She already has for over the past 2 years. She has a resume of failure.
Yeah.
West Side Story remake bombed,
Big flop.
big flop, and that's when they pushed her forward the first time, and they tried to make her the next big thing. And we got the first round of Zegler bots out there that I had dealt with when I was going after it. Then during that, she goes after J.K. Rowling, and she goes after a bunch of other people on Twitter, and we have all those beautifully saved, archived Twitter montages of her, or Twitter collages, excuse me. Then she's in a series of other movies that she's in. She was in Shazam 2, Bomb.
Big bomb.
And now I think there's another one in there somewhere. I forget what it is. I think there's another one, but that just shows you can remember it is. And now, about to premiere, she's in the Hunger Games prequel.
Oh. 2
hours. They got the release time today. 2 hours and 45 minutes of Rachel.
Another
Zegler.
long one. What is it? There's certain movies that can do 3 hours, no problem. But every movie doesn't need to be 3 hours. But that seems like what it is now.
So 2 hours and 45 minutes of Rachel Zegler. And who asked for a Hunger Games prequel?
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody saying, "Oh, yes, that's what we need."
That franchise is dead in the water. It's been dead in the water. It's forgotten.
Yeah. The last 2 movies, I think, didn't do well, did they?
I don't know. I watched them after they were out because that was during when I was laid up after China, and I was watching anything I get my hands on. So I watched all of Hunger Games.
Mhm.
And the last one came out relatively close to when I was being laid up, or at least it reached digital release, and I watched it. And the first one was okay, the second one was meh, and then the final 2-part or 3 one was just terrible. It was horrible. It was dog shit. It wasn't fun. And the characters were all broken down, and they weren't entertaining. They weren't relatable. And now that franchise has been dead and gone for essentially 5 years. And now you're making a prequel?
Here's the thing. Why is every time they make a movie that they expect to be some sort of thing on capitalism, like a dig on capitalism, it actually ends up pointing more badly towards socialism?
Because they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand that their ideology is the ruin of the world.
Yeah.
Socialism has killed more people around the world than anything.
Yeah. The whole structure that was supposed to be, I guess, capitalism, the rich at the top with all the suffering people below. And I'm all like, yeah, it looks like socialism. Get out there and do what we tell you to do and provide for us, because if you don't, you know, you go to the gulag type idea. And yeah, it seems more socialist to me than capitalist, but you know.
I swear I don't remember where I saw it. Is it something I bookmarked? Let me see. Hang on. Something I saw where it said this one of the current pieces of crap out there saying this is a perfect deconstruction of capitalism.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
I forget where I saw it. It was on one of the shill sites. I forget what it was, and I just thought, what? And it's just, it's the weird ideological obsession. But either way, you got this. So she's gonna bomb in this one. She's back. She's gonna be 0-3, 0-4.
Yeah.
And then she's already destroyed Snow Brown and the 7 magical in your ears. And there's no that and that. I'm hope. I both hope and don't hope because I want them to keep doing it. But I'd like a break that Snow Brown is going to sink the Disney live actions. Because with the strikes going on, everything's frozen.
Yeah.
They can't start pre-production of anything. And they have the whole list of ones they're going to do. This one's done though; it's coming out. And if this stuff goes on for another 2 months, it's everything's pushed back 2-3 years. I want them to do it because the live action remakes are helping to destroy Disney. But I'm also just so tired of them.
Don't you kind of wish that we had like, I don't know, like just an uprising of investors start taking out these bad CEOs, like because they're not what's that law where you have to be responsible with investors' money and you have to make smart choices, and if you're negligent,
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the actual wording of it.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
It's economic stuff, so that's kind of where I lose
my
knowledge. It's the Renaissance nature of my name does not extend to that unless somebody's talked to me about it.
Yeah, I've heard it a million times, and yeah, I can't find it in my brain. But yeah, like they're so negligent and with this woke crap, and it's hurting the companies, and then they continue to do it. You think at some point you're going to have like a massive revolt of investors against these CEOs and this woke crap, where they just start like kicking them out, like the person who runs Budweiser. Why the hell does he still have a job? You just had Skittles just did this packaging where they like put on their being a rebellious or something, like it's some fight the patriarchy type thing on it.
Oh my god!
It's and like, when are they going to start?
You bring up Skittles, and it's not like Skittles has had a smart marketing campaign for years with their really sick and disgusting commercials that are somewhat body horror in a way and sexualization even before the whole Rainbow Coalition took it over. Real quick, $10 from our friend Samuel, the infamous. Thank you. More people were off, and I see it due to socialism in the 20th century than were in the entirety of human history prior. Yeah, we're talking hundreds of million people thanks to socialism. So,
but it's never been gone right.
That's the thing. We'll do it right next. That's always the phrase. We'll get it right next time. We'll get it right next time, guys. We promise.
Don't you love when you have a built-in argument of, it just wasn't done right, so you never fail?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to go too into the political, but it's
sorry.
But no, it's fine. We're talking about within the realm of movies, so it's fine. But it's just these movies keep doing it, and here's an example. Here's the shame of it. Sam 8,000 for $2. Just saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, loved it, and unfortunately, this is capitalism. Capitalism does sometimes it yields results you don't want. Mission Impossible, a good movie by all accounts. I haven't seen it yet. I'm one of those people that's waiting. Everybody loved it, rave reviews, but what happened? Poor planning by Paramount. Let's drop it in the middle of the summer instead of the beginning, where now nobody could have predicted it. We all knew Barbie was going to do something. We didn't know it was going to do what it's doing. And it took me a couple weeks to understand it completely. And I've admitted that many times that I was wrong on my initial assessment on what was going to happen because I didn't understand the phenomena. Now I do. But Paramount should have dropped MI7 up against Little Mermaid. If they did drop that up against Little Mermaid, it would have crushed that. It would have still been riding high against Indy and Dial Up of Dump Destiny. It would have been great, but it dropped it in the middle of the summer. And the other phenomenon, Sound of Freedom, plus Barbenheimer, it cut it out from the legs almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame. That's capitalism. Yeah. People chose where to spend their money.
Yeah. I like the franchise. I've watched all of them and multiple times, and I like it. So I'm planning on watching it.
I mean,
and I hope I do.
I mean, dude, my mom asked me that. She asked me, "Is the new one good?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't seen it yet." She says, "When can I see it?" Because I feed her movies. You know, she doesn't want to go to a theater, and I give her movies to watch. I let her know when things are good and this and that. And I said, well, it's going to be a little while. She says, have I seen all the other ones? Like, well, yeah, I think you saw the first one. She says, can I watch them all? So I collected all other 6 movies for her, and she loved watching them for the past month. She waits to the weekend to watch things, and she had a ball watching 1 through 6. She even liked 2. She even liked 2. She had a fun, and now because she's run out of things to watch, she wants to watch all 6 again right now. She had that much fun with it. She wants to go through them all again. And I mean, this is the woman who taught me cinema. So she will watch something, and then when she rewatches it, she'll watch it in a different way and try to see what she can pick up looking at it from another angle. So she always finds enjoyment rewatch stuff. So it's fun. It's a fantastic franchise. It just they effed up this one. So, yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sam 8000. I hope I enjoyed it. Devil, hope you enjoy it. And Samuel for another $5. Adam's assessment was not enough. Do I look like Dermy, where I'm going to play into that?
Shame on you, Samuel.
Shame. Thank you, Samuel, for the $5. And Sam 8000 for another $2. I just bought Mission Impossible box of Blu-ray. See, that's the thing. Here's the only drawback of the strike. It's pushing back Dead Reckoning Part 2. And at this point, I don't own any of the Mission Impossible movies. And I want to wait for the final one to see if they can stick the landing. Then I want to buy the box set. I want to get the complete set then. So I'm one of those people now that I'm going to be waiting for that. And then if it lands, then of course I'm going to get it because I like to have nice complete sets. I like those. I like to know. You can see I like a nice little box set when I find something I like. I like a little box set. I'm home for that. But see, capitalism, customer, and in this case, when we can say consumer, we're not in the derogatory way we usually use it. They drive it. They tell you what they like by spending their money. I got a video coming out tomorrow that's going to show you that people are not spending their money on Disney, especially Disney Plus. But I'll talk about that tomorrow. Thank you again, Sam 8000 for another $2. Oh, whenever $2 comes, do you remember that John Cusack movie, where the paper boy was owed $2 and he chased him throughout the entire movie, yelling $2? I want my $2.
I vaguely remember. I can't remember. Was it High Fidelity or was it?
No. It was one of the first ones.
Oh, the comedies, the summer one, right? Was it the summer one?
No. This is the other one. That was the Demi Moore one.
Yeah.
The summer one was with Demi Moore. This is a different one where he's got the hot exchange student and he's trying to impress the blonde chick, and it's got skiing involved with it.
Shit,
something I think Lux. I want to try and get it without looking it up. It's somewhere here in the Rolodex. I'm trying. But yeah, remember he made a bunch of those in the 80s.
Yeah,
they all kind of blend together. Of course, I can't watch anymore because I can't stand to look at him.
Yeah, he's
so insane. But yeah, Samuel for another $5. Thank you, Samuel. Mission Impossible first one turned me off the whole movie franchise. Haven't watched any sequels. And probably, yeah, I've heard some people actually don't like the first one because they abuse the characters or something like that. I thought it was okay, and I watched the first one. I saw the second one, Was kind of bored with the second one. The only thing I liked from that was the Metallica single that came out of it. And then I kind of went away from the franchise. And then when Jar Jar made his third one, I didn't watch it because I wasn't interested in it. But then years later, when they had all the other ones come out, they had like 2 or 3 of them come out. I hadn't watched any. I rented them through PlayStation Store because that's all there was at the time. They didn't have a Blockbuster anymore. And I liked them. I thought they were good. For me, they were good for evening entertainment. I was satisfied and had a fun little turn my brain off action. And now that we're reaching a total of 8 movies, the fact that they all for me are satisfying, it's something you could put in and just blow through and know you have a set amount of time of entertainment ahead of you. But yeah, I mean, Samuel, this is not the first time I've heard that opinion. People didn't like somehow how they treated certain characters, and that turned them off. And also, they took them a while to find the formula completely. To like the back end ones were the ones that really went like 4 through 6 are the ones people really love in the franchise. Yeah, Mission Impossible TV show. I think I saw it a couple times. That really wasn't in heavy syndication when I was a kid.
No,
I didn't see it that much.
I think the first one they had, I saw a couple times on TV. The second one, though, yeah, I don't remember seeing it on TV.
Well, Samuel says this right here. I didn't like the entire team getting killed off in the beginning. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't like it especially when you jam pack it full of notable stars at the time, and then gank them all in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You go, what? Huh? I mean, I've heard them say they were really sorry they killed off Emilio Estevez in the first one because they would have loved to try and get him back in there, but there's no way because he fully gets blowed up in the first one. There's no surviving that. He's done. He's gone. But yeah, that was a that I agree that I don't like that part of the movie, but it's been a long time. I was always okay with it overall. It's not my favorite of them. I'm with a lot of people. I like 4 through 6 much more than I like 1, 2. Never saw 3. I'll watch it eventually, but more than the early parts of it. So.
A lot of my favorite movies are. It's kind of pointing to that John Cusack one you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite movies are the ones that no one else knows about or didn't hit, like, like not been remembered as some great series or anything. Just that one hit that, I like one of the ones I remember from my childhood. I don't know if you've ever seen Murphy's Romance.
Oh yeah.
My mom loved that movie. She played it all the time. I love that movie. There was one that came out not too long, about 10 years ago, maybe now, called The First 20 Million, I believe it was called.
I've never heard
Have
of
you seen that?
No, I never heard of that one.
That one's really good. It's a kind of a comedy. Yeah, just like some of the best movies are the ones you just no one else remembers, and but you remember them real well.
Yeah, I mean, Grosse Pointe Blank was one of my favorite John Cusack movies. I really, even Minnie Driver was kind of hot in that one, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
that's saying something. But I always liked that one. It was a weird little movie with the hitman stuff. I always did like that one. Sam 8000 for another $2. Thank you so much. 3 was Abrams' only good movie. A lot of people say that. That was Jar Jar's one movie where he kind of managed to stick the landing. So I've heard that. Yes. Here's the thing. I mean, when I was a kid, cable became a thing.
Yeah.
You had HBO, you had Showtime, you had Movie Channel. When you had those 3, and then they were putting movies in syndication on TBS, TNT. Yeah. I was allowed to watch anything. There were no restrictions on what I could watch. And at a very young age, I was allowed to watch our movies. There was just the one rule: if ever it made it back to my mom that I repeated the language that I heard in those movies outside the house, done, over. You will not be allowed to watch them till you're of age. And boy, did I keep that promise. Never once did anybody hear me utter an F-bomb or say shit or anything outside the house that I was hearing. All the fun words that you learn when watching an R-rated movie. So I saw a lot of stuff when I was a kid. And then, of course, there was family movie night and on the weekend. And something I didn't have any power in the renting early on. Movies would be rented. And I would see things. I remember when they brought home Highlander for the first time.
Oh man.
And as a little kid, it didn't make sense to me why Christopher Lambert, aka Connor McLeod, why am I seeing him looking one way and suddenly looking like that? To my little boy brain, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, the time jump.
I didn't understand. I'm like, are these two different people? And little boy brain doesn't get it. But then there was sword fighting, and I was happy. So,
Yeah.
but Legatus, he's talking about Mission Impossible 3. He's talking about Mission Impossible 3. That's what he's talking about, because Jar Jar, the one franchise he didn't destroy. In fact, he rejuvenated it with 3. Yeah. One could say. But there are now when I was allowed to choose my movies from the movie store, I rented all kinds of weird. First, I rented every B science fiction fantasy movie I could get my hands on. All kinds of. Although there was the one I wasn't allowed to rent, Sword and the Sorceress, because my mom took one look at the box and saw that the sorceress had 4 tits. She's like, no, you're not ready for that.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But yeah, there are so many weird movies that I saw over the years. I couldn't even put names to them at this point when you see those things. But that was the greatness of it all. And that's one of the things we can say right now. We don't need them to make anything. There is a deep wellspring of movies to watch forever, TV shows forever, and it's just a matter of it really boils down to what are you in the mood for, that's what it boils down to. And I got the hiccups. Drank too much water there. I'm thirsty tonight, just thirsty. That's good though. I need hydration.
Yeah, that's a good advice for everyone. Just stop watching the shit that Hollywood's trying to feed you. That's absolute crap. And go back to the old movies. There's so many good out there, no matter what it is. Comedy, horror, action, science fiction. There's always some movie out there that was just amazing, didn't get the credit it deserved, and it's just sitting there waiting for you to discover it.
Here's a really good one that, again, there's so many weird little sci-fi movies that are weird. I forget what this was called. It's a Chris Christopherson sci-fi movie where it's a post-apocalyptic world and people have android parts and shit like that. And it would, all right. We got to look some of these titles up because you guys got to know. If we're talking about these things, I've got to be able to
tell you to watch.
Because let me bring up Chris Christopherson. And if you know what Chris Christopherson is, just one of those old school gritty guys. He played Whistler in the Blade movies. That if anybody needs a quick reminder who Chris Christopherson. Chris Christopherson, one of those hardcore dudes from that era of movies. All right, so let me see.
Original Star Was Born, I believe, right?
I think so. I don't remember. I'm not that. I don't remember. No, right here. Blade 2. Chris Christopherson. Let's go to his IMDb resume, and we're now this is gonna go back to the 90s, I think. So let's. Oh, hang on. Freaking no script. All right, now let's share because I'm a YouTuber. I know how to do this. I know it's an old joke. I've dead air. We do it every time, but I have to say something. Can't have dead air. There we go. Okay, so Chris Christopherson. Let's zoom in. No, not on. Okay, not on that fucking side. God damn it, devil. I'm terrible. I'm a boomer. Here we go. Zoom in here. There we go. Okay, let's. All right. Wow. All right. So Chris Christopherson hasn't. I guess he's retired at this point. Has not done anything since 2018. You know what? He's old. He's earned it. He's earned a rest. Let's go all the way. We're gonna go all the way to the 80s. It's in the 80s. So let's see if I can find it here. I'll know it. What? Millennium's a good one. You know Millennium, right?
No, I haven't seen those. Is it good?
Oh, that's where it's involving time travel, and it's a post-apocalyptic, or it's an end of the world situation in the future. And what they're doing is, well, I don't want to spoil it. Let's just say it's time travel, and Chris Christopherson is a kid. As a kid, survives a plane crash, and it sticks with him about the plane crash. And he keeps seeing this blonde chick who was a stewardess over and over again, and she was a stewardess when he plane crashed. and then she's a stewardess later on when he's an adult. And there's time travel involved. So that's a good one. See, that's 1989, good mid-level, thoughtful science fiction movie. So that's a good one. That's a really good one right there. But let me see if I can find the next one. Where is it? Where is it? I know I'll see it when now we're getting 98. Okay, no, I missed it. Where is it? Oh, because I know he was in it. All right, let's go. All right, it's not in the 70s. Maybe he's all right. Let's try again. Damn. Was it The Tracker? No, it's a TV movie. Millennium. Somewhere around here. Oh man, I want to find it, and it's not showing up, and it should have already come up.
Is it one of those things where it's not him, but it was somebody who looked like him? Because that happens to me all the time.
I'm pretty sure it was him. All right, let me try googling it, but there's all these mid-level sci-fi movies from the 80s and the 90s, like you said, that people don't know about, and they're just great. They're nice little fun, easy movies. I'm sure Christopherson, Cyborg movie. Oh, it's Knights. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, all right, there it was. We did go right by it. I didn't know that was the name. That was the name of it. Knights. Here it is, right here. I know I saw it there. Let's go back. A little back in time. There it is. Yeah, Knights. Yeah, this is a good one right here. 1993, Christopherson, Knights. It's a weird movie, and it starred this had Lance Henriksen in it, and this chick Kathy Long. She was like a fitness chick they were trying to push in the B movie realm, and she never really took off. But in the future, a kickboxer and a robot, the revolution against ruling cyborgs. It's just a weird little sci-fi movie, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, and it's fun, and it's cult is what it is. So that's a good. I mean, it's a really dumb thing. Yeah, I guess she was a kickboxer chick. It's that era. I mean, remember Cynthia Rothrock? Remember her? Face like a Doberman, kind of nice body, and did a bunch of karate movies.
I probably do. I just can't remember the name to the person. But if I saw a picture of her, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna bring up Cynthia Rothrock. I think you'll know her when you see her. I mean, she's a double bagger if anybody was, but had a nice body, and she did all those karate movies. Cynthia, come on, I can type. Cynthia Rothrock. Here's remember her? Remember her?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I do remember.
Yeah. Had a nice body, but good goddamn face like a bulldog.
Yeah, very nice body.
But they had all these movies where they would take athlete chicks from various parts of side sports, and they put them in these B movies and give them all these mini franchises. And she was one of the ones that took off. She had like half a dozen karate based movies, martial arts movies that she was in.
Yeah.
Eagle Claw, something like that. Eagle Claw. It's called Eagle Claw. I swear to God. Oh, I better not scroll down. I think there's a naughty picture there. Okay. I'm actually gonna do a Dermy and go, oh, okay, look over there. Oh, do we dare relive that for a moment? Okay, there's a sword covering her boob. It wasn't bad. But yeah, there was that whole era of sports chicks, various fitness chicks, stuff like that. They put movies, and she won. And I guess they tried to do it with that kickboxer chick who was in that, with Chris Christopherson in that movie, and it didn't work with her because I think Cynthia Rothrock could pull off B acting, and the other chick couldn't. It's not a well acted movie, but it's still again. There are these movies that are just in their place. They're straight to video, stuff like that, and you just like them.
Yeah,
they're good.
And the 80s were really bad about that. Like you had the big action stars, and so you had the B and C level action stars where they would have this barbarian, and it was some bodybuilder who
Or the Barbarian Brothers, when they did
Barbarian Brothers.
Yeah, they did their movie, which was awesome. It was so bad, it was awesome. They fight a dragon, and they get swallowed by it, and they kill it from the inside out, and all the treasure's in there, and they get all the treasure at one point. It's so mind-bogglingly stupid, but it's awesome.
I have one. I told Etep about it because he loves those movies too, and I think it's called Super Fighter. Have you seen that?
Who knows? It might be one of those ones that I've seen but didn't know the title of.
It's this kid, and he works like at a grocery store, but he's been trained by this kung fu master, and he stops some like criminals who are robbing the store, and he becomes kind of like this celebrity all-American kid, the hero who stood up to the criminals.
I haven't seen
this. And he gets like invited to this. Essentially, it's like a mix between wrestling and like mixed martial arts. They have like a personality and a character to them, but they do these called super fights. And there's a whole story behind it and corruption and stuff in it. But yeah, it's that way. It's got a girl who's a bodybuilder, and she's one of the fighters called Angel, and all these guys are roided up, and it's a pretty good one if you like those.
Samuel, for another $5, dude, thank you. Rutger Hauer was the greatest B-movie actor of all time, with apologies to Bruce Campbell. I love me my Bruce Campbell, but Rutger Hauer has a much larger filmography than Bruce Campbell. One of my favorite Rutger Hauer movies. Oh shit! I just forgot the name. Oh shit! Split Second. Have you ever seen Split Second?
I might have. It sounds familiar. Right. The name.
Let me write it down for you.
I'm bad with names.
It's now it was made. It's made in the 90s, straight to video.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking place in a future where global warming has melted the ice caps and the world is flooded. So it's whatever. And it takes place in flooded England, flooded London. And he's a cop there. And he ends up hunting this demonic creature that is eating the hearts of people. And he has a psychic connection to it. Stars Kim Cattrall. Look at smoking hot in it.
I remember the story.
One of my favorite Rutger Hauer movies. It's not my favorite Rutger Hauer movie.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where they were showing like all the old B-movie horror and science fiction on Sci-Fi one time. They were having like, where they just show a bunch of movies at once. I can't remember what it was for. And I remember that, the heart taking. That's what that really stuck
and you
in my
see
head.
the ripped open chest, and it's like, and they take it, it's eating them. It's eating the hearts. It's whatever, because it has one of the best lines ever that has made it into pop culture. And I don't think people know where it came from. We need bigger guns, bigger fucking guns. That's where that comes from. That's from Rutger Hauer, Split Second. We're gonna have to watch that on Saturday Night Driving, because that is pure 90s straight to movie action. And Rutger Hauer, he lives on coffee, cigarettes, and these little chocolate donut things. That's all he drinks and eats, because he runs on sugar and caffeine and cigarettes. Oh, and the guns are pretty cool in that movie too. It's pretty good, just giant shotguns. Oh, I love that movie so much. I love it so much.
Sometimes the movies that don't have a big budget, so they really have to just. Sometimes they're corny, but they're so corny they're good. Like what's that one with what's his name? The one who plays in Blue Bloods.
Tom Selleck?
Tom Selleck, yeah. I'm so bad with names.
Runaway?
Yes, with the robots. The
little running robots.
Yes, and Gene Simmons plays the bad guy.
Yeah. I used to see it all. They used to play that on TV all the time. Welcome, Mr. Bug. How you doing tonight?
What's up, Bug?
Doing all right. I have to relax right now because my leg decided to say, "Hey, you're gonna have the worst pain in your life today."
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, what'd you do to it?
I don't know. I just was just walking. I was just walking, and then I just felt a sudden pain in my leg, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not moving today."
Where's the pain?
It was like right in right in the middle of my thigh. I don't know. It just felt like the worst cramp ever, and I just
that just sounds like a really bad. That sounds like just a nasty cramp. Maybe it might be a what's it called? Might be a little sciatica. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
they-
whatever it was like it was enough for me to go. Yeah, I don't have any plans today. I'm gonna not
They-
move.
They have two kinds of cramps I've found in your legs. You have like the ones you get like on the back of your calf and where the muscle twists a little bit and it feels like a knot. Those hurt. But if you get it in your upper thigh or on the front half of your calf, those feel like a stabbing pain. Like it's stabbing into the muscle, and those are the worst.
Yeah,
I-
I've heard
yeah.
that two things. One, drink some orange juice, eat a banana, get some potassium in you, and that can counteract that kind of cramp sometimes. Or rub silver on it. You know, you have actual silverware. Rubbing silver on it apparently does something to help it. I don't know. If you don't want to pop anti-inflammatories.
Yeah, they have Fairworks. That's what I use. I have to put it on every night just because I have the worst leg cramps ever. I don't know why. I've had them since
Well,
I
you
was a
have
kid.
goat legs. That's why.
Well, yeah.
I had a self-inflicted pain in my left shoulder for years when I was in New York in 2003, 2004 at culinary school, where I was living. I was living at fucking Y because that was the best deal I could get on an apartment, and they had a gym there, and I had free access to the gym. And I went down there and I used a machine the wrong way and really hurt myself. And I didn't get any treatment for it. And then the bed I was sleeping on was a piece of shit, so it aggravated the hell out of it. And for years, it caused a pain deep inside it to periodically just erupt, and nothing could make it stop hurting except a cortisone shot. Nothing,
Jeez.
no topical, no weird heat applications, no anti-inflammatory pills, and it was just sharp needle in your shoulder pain, and it could
Jeez.
last for a day or two. And finally, I think whatever I tore or however it improperly healed itself, because when the orthopedist, my orthopedist took a look at it, he couldn't really see anything wrong with it. And all he could do is give it a cortisone shot. Eventually, it stopped. It's healed itself now. I don't have it. And once in a while, I'll be walking, and suddenly I'll feel a quick, sharp pain in my shoulder, and I can't lift my arm. It won't lift on its own, so I have to just go like this, and then it's fine. I have to do it I have to use my arm, but that's about it. But that's rare. But that was self-inflicted. That's one of the worst pain I couldn't make go away by normal means on its own that I ever had there.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That was a good tangent.
Yeah, you know, it's a fun
So
little-
we're talking movies, Bug.
Oh.
Movies that not necessarily people know about, but that are just awesome, that are just out there. And right now we wandered into some beef. So we're just talking about we're talking about us, Rutger Hauer, Split Second. I think that's my favorite Rutger Hauer movie of all time. Although some people say that Lady Hawk is one of the greatest Rutger Hauer movies. People swear by Lady Hawk.
Yeah, my mom does. That's one of her favorites.
Rutger Hauer, Matthew Broderick, and what's her name? Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, she played that girl.
Yeah, it's an okay one. I think its level of fantasy wasn't appealing enough to me as a kid, which is why I never latched onto it the way others did. And I respect it's a good movie, but it's not one of those ones that I would go to for my fantasy fix like I would. But there's just so many good movies, and like Samuel said, you pick one of these actors that are well known, and I had shin splints. I got that from playing football. They were just terrible. People used to make fun of me. Hey, look at you, Adam. How your shin splints doing? I'm like, asshole, they hurt. I can't run. It hurts to walk. And that was before people knew what shin splints were. So I got made fun of for that because it hurt. I couldn't walk. Ooh. Oblivion.
Yeah.
Let me look that up. Who was in it?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, is that the Tom Cruise movie? No. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think that's he says sci-fi western. Maybe
Well, it was technically sci-fi.
Well, I know I've seen the Tom Cruise Oblivion. That one was okay. Can you give me somebody in it, Samuel? If it's not the Tom Cruise one, because then I need to see a poster or I need to see something. Because then there's sometimes, I mean, one time, I think I've told the story before. I've seen so many bad, cheap B fantasy movies that they're in there. I had seen this one particular one. I don't remember most of them. I just remember the beginning where they had a really bad practical effect makeup of these trolls, or these like little goblin trolls. And one of this little troll dude who had adopted our hero's little kid, and he always told him, if you can get this sword and make it and kill me with it, then you'll be free. But he kept hiding fake instructions to make the sword, and the kid kept making the wrong sword until finally he found the real one and reforged and kills him. And I had seen this movie once. I think it was either rent or TV. I don't remember. And one day in the summer, I was waiting in the car while my mom was shopping, and I'm just sitting there flipping through the radio. And I suddenly realized that I've come upon a station where it's not music, it's not a talk show, it's playing something. And within 5 minutes from the dialogue, I realized somebody's playing this movie over the radio. And I identified it just by hearing it's the dialogue about the sword scene. So take what you will from that. Just you see all this stuff and you never know. To find something like that, I'll never forget that. It was so weird. Yeah, all right. Legatus has found the Tom Cruise Oblivion one, but I don't know if that's what Samuel's talking about here. So we'll put that one on the sidebar for a minute.
What? There was one I was thinking of. God, they just pop in my head, little parts of them. You know, like ones that really stick out. Like I don't know if you guys remember the Guyver.
Oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Guyver fan. I saw the original movie, and then the sequel was lame. But then I watched the anime, which was hard.
There was an anime?
Oh, the anime is so good. Well, there's two. They're the same, but one it was a revival version, where they continued it forward, where it's based off a manga, and it only goes up to a certain point. God, the Guyver is so hardcore. I love the Guyver. Guyver's one of my favorite freaking things. Mega Buster. Oh, I love the Guyver, dude. That is so good. Back when I saw Mark Hamill and stuff, I'm like, oh, look, it's Mark Hamill. Now it's, oh, look, it's Mark Hamill. Excuse me. Let's see. Richard Joseph Paul, 1994. Okay, let's look that up. Let's bring that up. Okay, back to IMDb. Let's get that. Richard Joseph Paul. Richard Joseph. I can spell like the best of them. I could spell like a dermy. Here we go. Richard Joseph Paul, 1994, Oblivion. 96, 94, Oblivion. Yes, I've seen that because that's Michael Ironside in lizard makeup. Yes, I have seen this. Michael Ironside, underrated. Basically villain forever, and this chick was smoking hot in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one. I saw it at least once. What? No, I saw it flawless. No, that's I think that's this chick, Carol Stryker. George Takei was in this. Oh geez, I've only seen this once, but I have seen this.
Yeah, I remember his
Michael
face.
Ironside.
Yeah, I remember his face in it. So
yeah, or is that Michael Ironside? That looks like Michael Ironside. I don't see him. Is he in this here? Maybe that's not Michael Ironside. Just looks like maybe that isn't Michael Ironside. I don't see him on the list here. Huh. I thought that was Michael Ironside, but I have seen this.
Yeah,
I have seen this. Yeah, this again. It's one of those things. You see it once, maybe twice, and then you never see it again because you'd have to know where it is.
Yeah, I've had some movies like that. You know, some that were like, you know, they were good, but they weren't like worth to watch it, or they were just ones where I felt bamboozled by it. There was one movie I remember grabbing. It was probably 2012-ish sometime. You know, I go to Walmart and try to pick up some movies. I'm like, yeah, okay, I need something to watch. You know, and I go on the deals, and there's this one movie, and I'm like, I've never heard of this before. It's called All Superheroes Must Die, right? You know, has this little interesting little cover art, you know, like
I swear I've heard that. Swear
Yeah,
I've
me
heard that.
too. I've heard
Yeah,
that
yeah,
name.
yeah. I'm good. Like, it has this nice cover art. There's these two costume dudes. City's on fire in the background, and I recognized one of the actors because it was James Remar, who played Dexter's dad on Dexter, and other stuff. And I was like, "Ooh, I know that actor. I gotta watch this," because it was right when superhero stuff was getting to the craze. I was really just gulping down everything I could get. I was like, "Ooh, this ought to be cool." It was fucking horrible because the whole plot is like it's like these four heroes have been kidnapped by their arch nemesis, and it's implied that these guys have fought each other before, and they've got powers, but conveniently the whole point of the movie is they don't have powers at the moment, so they're stuck playing this like wannabe saw trap crap that James Remar is putting them through, and it's so fucking like miserable and terrible. And I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like, I spent $20 for this fucking movie, and I got robbed.
When was this movie made? Do you know when it was made?
Yeah, it was 2011. I got the
okay.
IMDb link
You
here.
see, these are the movies from like these are the movies from what we're talking about. These are mid late 80s, early mid 90s, where they're not the greatest things in the world, but they have this appeal. Yeah. I mean that remember when I say house, I mean the movies, not the TV show. Remember the house movies, the two house movies?
Yeah, the horror ones. Oh yeah.
I never
Vietnam.
I never saw the first one, but the second one is kind of joke horror, and I really like that one. I like the second one. It's all about the crystal. The second one's all about the crystal skull, and they're being chased by the evil cowboy, and they get his grandpa. And in the end, they keep going to different realities and different worlds through the doors of the house. I really like that one. That's a fun one.
Yeah, the first one was he moves into like his grandfather's house or something, and he's being chased by the spirit of a Vietnam buddy who felt like he left him behind, but it was his fault. Then the second one was that red mustached cowboy one that needed the skull that his grandfather took or something.
Yeah, I like that. That one. It's more comedy than it's more comedy than horror. So that's why I like that one. Oh,
you know what one of my favorite ones is, and I will swear by this movie. Have you ever seen? Obviously, everyone's seen Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah.
They made that prequel not too long ago.
The show
now, Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Before Red Dragon, back in I think it was 86, there was one called Manhunter, and it had the guy who played. I know that one. Yeah, it had the guy who played Grissom on CSI, William Patterson, I believe his name is. He plays in it, and it is such a damn good movie. I love that movie. It's a thriller, obviously, a crime thriller, and there's sorry, my phone.
Damn it.
Yeah, my prescription's ready. But there's this part where he's figuring out how the killer's choosing his victims. And the way the acting in that is so good. He's putting it together. He's figuring it out. And it's so intense the way he's doing it. It's just a great movie.
I feel like I know that movie. Do you remember this one? This is 85. I watched it. I think I rewatched it last year on a whim. Remember this one? My Science Project.
Oh, yes.
It is camp to the max. It is so hokey, so stupid, but it somehow works, and you just enjoy the inane stupidity of it because this device that they create that just rips time across the school, and it's got your classic thing. You got your kind of stupid guy, his buddy who thinks he's hot with the chicks but isn't, and then you got the nerd girl who turns out to be the hot girl. I mean, all the classic 80s tropes.
Yeah,
this is a good one. I always this is it again. These movies they're not good. They're great. They're not good, but they're great because they know exactly what they are. They are low budget, camp.
I
Low
love-
budget camp.
I love the guy who plays the little friend there. He's the one who plays the Indian guy on is this the right
Fisher
actor?
Stevens. Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, he plays the Indian guy in Short Circuit.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
I love
Oh,
those movies.
yeah.
I have Short Circuit too right there. That's my favorite of the two.
I love Short
those
Circuit.
movies. Yeah, those that again, Short Circuit. There's another one, short-lived mega franchise, but Johnny Five is iconic. Johnny
Yes.
Five is iconic, and again, not great but good, and of course, Short Circuit has heart to it. Those are movies.
Oh,
with
yeah.
heart. Those are movies with heart. But again, this is 80s, late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, when there was that whole part of the industry where they could just crank all these movies out for nothing
Yeah.
and make money on it. Yeah,
He was also in
95
Hackers.
is alive.
He was also in Hackers. He played the bad guy in Hackers.
Hackers. I've always liked Hackers.
Oh yeah.
I always like Hackers. I like everybody in the cast. I like even though you watch it now, our 28.8 modems, we're gonna hack the world, baby. Look, yeah, man, here, hold my beer. Hold my beer.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Have you seen the movie called Core? It had Aaron
Yeah.
Eckhart. Yeah, that movie was
Yeah.
that movie was a fun little one because
Yeah.
and looking back on it now, because they have that one character who's meant to be their hacker. They only get him just to ensure no one finds out that the world is dying.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's
He only eats Hot Pockets and Xena. He watches Xena and eats
Yeah,
Hot
that's his only
Pockets.
price. I'm gonna need a lifetime supply of Xena and Hot Pockets.
Well, they made that during the disaster movie craze. That's
Yeah,
when I watched
after
it.
Independence Day came out.
Yeah.
Or no,
Uh,
Armageddon. Sorry, Armageddon. After
Yeah.
Armageddon came out, they're all like, "How else can we do this? The world's gonna end. We need an action hero to save us," type thing.
where it's and then thank you, we get all the way to the point where there's the one with fuck Dennis Quaid, not I was saying Randy Quaid, no, Dennis Quaid, where the everything freezes over.
Oh yeah, that's the day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
Day After Tomorrow.
yeah, that it's like, wow,
where
okay,
you have
come on.
to suspend some reality to
Yeah.
get it to work. But yeah, they're good movies like that Core. Like, yeah, the core's about to stop turning, and we're all gonna be nuked by the sun. And they just happen to have a technology that can make a ship strong enough to go to the Earth's core, and a laser that can burn to the Earth's core. And the scientists made them both. And it's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
it's just you
remember-
have to suspend the reality.
You remember what the name of the metal of that ship was?
No, I can't remember.
I've only seen
Oh,
it once, so no.
Unobtainium.
the same thing that James used.
No.
Yes.
No. Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, you
I
guys
want-
keep talking
I
about
wa-
this. I gotta go get into the box of tissues. Go ahead and keep talking. I'll be right back.
I watched Core more times than I can count. That I remember vividly details about that. It's like, yeah,
I remember they get back to the surface and they're like, their ship's been like totally destroyed because it was like a train. It was like a bunch
Yeah.
of different things, and they had to destroy all of them except for the one they're in, and somehow it's still able to do the laser and stuff. And they get up to the surface, but they only have enough to literally get to the water, like the bottom Mariana Trench or whatever. And then they had to use the whales to find them.
yeah. Like I think that part was like it's like gets to that point where it's like, okay, you kind of ran out of ideas there to try because it was like you had something going for because it was before that they managed to just hotwire enough power to get out of the core, and now it's like, well, what do you do now? They're like,
Yeah.
well,
I
fuck
remember
it,
this-
we're already at the end of the movie anyways. Screw it.
I remember the scene where they come out in the bottom of the water and the ground gets all glowy because they're burning through, and then it pops out and just goes and then lands. Because I guess it's the heat that gives it its power. The pressure and the heat is what drives the electricity or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the second they got into the cold water, it killed the machine. So yeah, they're laying on the bottom of the ocean, and the magnetic force of the metal, the whales are attracted to it, And so they find the whales all like going around humping the freaking capsule they're in, and that's how they save Aaron Eckhart. But he's down there banging freaking Hilary Swank, so give him time.
I mean, hey, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna die. Let's go out. Let's have a little fun before we're dead.
Wouldn't it suck if like you're all like, we're gonna die, and you like reach in for the kiss, and she's all, I'm actually a lesbian. You're all, fuck. Here on the bottom of the ocean, you have to be a lesbian. Like, really?
Okay,
Nola
that
Goddess.
reminds me-
That's just a random Yana in a swimsuit that I found. So no, that's just random Yana. Enjoy for a second there. Okay.
Okay, that reminds me. You remember? Have you guys seen the movie Spies Like Us?
Of course.
Yes.
That's a classic
remember-
Chevy
That's a
Chase
classic.
Aykroyd.
Yeah, remember when right at the end where they launched the nuke and they're all like, "Well, we just started World War III," and they just
Yep.
kind of resigned to the fact they're like, "Well,
They just
let's just
keep
let's
effing.
just fuck right now
Yeah.
before the world ends."
Yeah.
It's
My
like,
favorite part.
You want to go out with a bang? How dare you? He's like, "Why am I wrong?" She's like, "No, that's
Now,
the point."
and of course, that is the first time we get a glance at the beautiful Vanessa Angel playing the Russian chick. Oh,
My
she-
favorite
yeah,
part
that-
of that movie is when they come out of the well, what's it called, where you spin around in the machine and you get the G's,
Oh yeah,
and their faces are all pressed back and their hair's all like flattened out, and they've got those faces stuck there.
Yeah, they're walking. It's like, let's get some coffee. Okay.
See, that's that era of movies where you get Stripes, you get Spies Like Us.
Stripes is good.
Stripes is just that's Harold Ramis, Bill Murray at their best.
Oh, yeah.
That's top tier.
What about Date with an Angel? Do you remember that? That
Yeah.
chick was so hot. Oh,
Yeah.
and I think that was the only movie she was in. I think.
Probably.
But goddamn,
Yeah,
she
you're
was
right.
a 20.
You're
I
right.
was in love with her.
But and then I mean, I was talking about this day. You get those levels. You get Weird Science in there. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
oh, yeah.
these were not mega hits, but they are culturally significant.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn, Kelly LeBrock at that movie, dude.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was just a time where if a movie wasn't that great, you can at least get some enjoyment out of it. Like,
Oh yeah,
I remember the other day I was talking about Wild Wild West, which I ironically love the movie just because of how goofy it is.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. The song is a wild thing, but it's like,
Wiki wiki wow wow.
but it's like it's too fun. It's like I love the wacky gadgetry, the mecha spider. Kenneth Brown played an amazing little villain that was just, it was just fun, dude. That's just all it was. It was like you could have fun with it. Nowadays,
movies
you can't
were
really.
made for fun back then.
Yeah.
And you didn't need a big budget. That's the best thing about the 80s is all those movies, they had to count on a good story or a likability to it at least. You didn't have to count on some, extra $100 million worth of CGI trying to impress people, They were done on a shoestring budget, but so they didn't have to make, 400 or 500 million just to break even. They were made for like 4 million. And so if they made 8, they were fine. And so they were good. They were just good. And like you said, campy, but good.
And then that was a different market back then because they were made then to be shoved into the video store.
Yep.
So they have their
Make money
agreement
there
with all
too.
the video store chains when there were more of them. And then there were the small business ones, like the non-chain ones. So they get there. And then there's the home video market where people are buying that shit. And then you get the licensing deal with either HBO, Showtime, or Movie Channel. They're paying for it. So there was money to be made when you were selling it. Now, as many talk about it these days, excuse me, the streaming industry has killed video sales, all but killed it, because you got either retarded Disney who doesn't want to sell anything and put everything on Disney Plus, and then so fuck you, we're going to pirate it anyway, so go fuck yourself if we do want it, which generally we don't now, or all these other ones, they are limiting their Blu-rays because they want to keep it all digital, so you can go to their streaming service, like Warner Brothers was to put it all on Max or shit like that. And that's why we keep saying get your physical media when you can't get it. I mean, yeah, I will get digital copies if it doesn't exist, but or if I'm not going to give money. Just like I have a Renaissance Disney collection, but none of it is physical. because Disney's not getting any of my money. And whatever, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. Go ahead.
Some of the best movies on Disney were that way too. Like I
Mhm.
said, like you were mentioning, they're physical movies that they did with Russell Crowe and Russell, sorry,
Kurt
Russell
Russell.
Crowe. Yeah. And
I'm gonna let that one go.
like I said, one of my favorite ones that I used to watch all the time when I was a kid on the Disney Channel was called Not Quite Human. And then they had
Yeah.
Still Not Quite Human and Not Quite Human 3. All of them
Yeah.
were good. But you don't see them on Disney Channel. They're Disney Plus or whatever anymore.
Nope. Well, yeah, we've talked about that. All those actual, truly family-friendly Disney movies, they don't have that in the archive. I was talking about this when I came back from being sick. While I was sick, I watched The Happiest Millionaire. Fred
yeah.
McMurray.
Love that one.
Yeah, Leslie Ann Warren. That I hadn't seen that movie in probably 20 plus years, maybe even 30 years. I hadn't seen that movie. And I watched it all the time as a kid, used to rent it all the time. And while I was sick, I needed something enjoyable to watch. I needed something to make me feel good.
Herbie the Love Bug. That was another group.
Those ones. I mean, but I watched Happiest Millionaire, and wow, it was just a lovely, happy movie.
Yep.
Just a lovely, happy movie with just an outstanding cast and just fun.
Yep.
And that's not on there.
They don't have that one on there for real?
I don't think so.
Jeez.
They don't have that archive of all those classic big what we call them the giant thick plastic Disney cases they used to have on there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have. I doubt they have Swiss Family Robinson. They don't have any of those movies.
They always used the same actors, but they always were, and so you saw them a bunch. Like there was the one who did the Golden Goose, and he also did was the one where it was like a Great Dane, but he thought he was a dachshund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember that one.
And then there was the girl from Mary Poppins also did one called The Nine Lives of the Cat, whatever the hell it was called.
The original
Thomasina. That's what.
Yeah. And they did that was the original Escape from Witch Mountain. Or Return
Oh
to Witch
yes,
Mountain.
I love that one. Even the
original
second one
versions
was good.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, where they're teenagers, they come back.
Yeah.
Both of those are a great pair of movies. The original, not the Dwayne the Rock Johnson remake.
Yeah.
Utter shit.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one.
But the original ones are great. Oh,
Yeah.
and then of course, and then because it was great Disney movies, you can still get great actors like David Niven would be in movies. You could get whole range of fantastic actors back then that would just come in and do quality work. Dead Noms and Broomsticks.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Dead Noms and Broomsticks.
That was so
good.
good.
Of course, Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Julie Andrews. All these. Angela Lansbury was in Dead Noms and Broomsticks. All these fantastic movies that are still good.
Yeah.
They are timeless classics and they hold up today.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't get that no more in Hollywood. They have to ruin everything.
Legatus, yeah, we know they're restricting physical release there. They're trying to do everywhere else. It's retarded that they think this is the path to go. Listen, I don't promote going down to the beach and finding something that's attached to driftwood and it's gonna wash up on shore and get it. I don't promote doing that, but guess what? It happens. And when you do something like that and you restrict access to the good stuff while pushing your bad stuff, guess what's going to happen? No one's signing up for Disney Plus. Again, I'm making a video about that tomorrow. No one's signing up. People are rejecting it. No one's going to give you money to rent something. This is why I've never been a fan of streaming, and I've never once given them any of my money. I could say that. I've never given Netflix money. I've never given Prime money. Never given Disney Plus. Definitely never given Disney Plus money. Never given any of the other, whatever they were called, various times when Max was HBO Max and when Paramount Plus was Paramount, whatever they called it. I never given any of my money because when I realized what was going on about 4 years ago, right before COVID started, when I realized they're asking me to give them money forever to rent something forever, yet at any time they can take it away.
Yeah.
Yes, I had my my I guess I get my subscription, my account at Blockbuster and various other video stores in my life. You know what? The movies were still always there. Yes, there were less copies than when they were new, but the movies were still always there.
Yeah.
But they can, on a streaming service, they can just pluck it away anytime they want. And that's when I realized I don't like this. I'm not giving you money to watch things and then have you take it away when you feel like it, leaving me with nothing to watch on your service.
It's not even and now it's not even you're not even it's not even until like streaming or whatever. Like, do you hear about all the changes that are getting made to the Spider-Verse movie? Like, people are noticing that they changed shit from the theatrical to the
I've
new
been
digital.
hearing that. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, apparently there's been a lot of changes. Like, there's been some lines changes, some like tweaks, but it's just like it's one of those things where, like, on its own, not really a big deal, but it's slippery slope thing. So it's like, if that's what they're doing, then
aren't they all learning that that there've been different endings and only one of them's the actual ending or something like that? I swear I heard that. Oh no, it's just yeah.
Honestly, I got so much flack for like criticizing the fucking ending of that movie. It was ridiculous.
You did. You got a lot of heat for that one.
Yeah, because it was the movie was incomplete. Okay, like, and I remember having a discussion with True Pop. He goes like, yeah, it was like, like, I'm gonna like, maybe judge it when the second part goes out. I'm like, no. This movie came out on its own. It's gonna have to stand on its own. It doesn't get to rely on the second parter to like help its story, because you're building up to this like this conflict, the third act, and like nothing happens. And some people kept trying to bring up like Infinity War, but it's like, here's the thing:
we knew that was coming. We knew that was coming,
and they actually fight Thanos at the end and lose. And it's like, there's your cliffhanger. That's like, I didn't get that. It was like, it'd be like everyone's getting ready to go to Wakanda, and just suddenly, no, the movie just ends right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons. I mean, I can't criticize it because I didn't see it, but I know exactly where it ends. That's one of the reasons why I've held off on watching the latest Dune remake, because I know where it ends is one of the dumbest places to end in the story, to cut it to where they ended it. And I'm going to watch it in the next 2 months, getting ready for the second one, because I have a thing planned for that. And I promised a lot of people that I would watch them together and finally give my take as a fan of Dune on it. But yeah, it's weird choices made. Weird choices made in terms of doing stuff like that. And in something like Dune, at least you kind of understand it, especially because we all know the story, or at least enough of us know the story where we can say something about that. But I can't really give an opinion on Spider-Verse because I haven't watched it, and I'm not going to watch it because I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. What you're saying.
Yeah, and it's like, the movie does some things really well. Nothing wrong with that. It's just like there were just some parts that was just like very iffy, and then as time goes on, it's like when the director starts saying shit, they're like, "Oh, we're making this to, get a clap back out of people who don't think Miles is a real Spider-Man or some shit like that." It makes things like clearer, because in the movie they make Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099. They basically shackle him with all of the anti-Miles problems. But the thing is, they give his backstory like a really good backstory to him, and his character has like all the reasons and justifications for treating Miles like shit. And it's just, you make him actually the best character in the entire movie.
Well, that's what you pointed out with the Barbie. It's the same thing with the Kenneth thing.
Yeah, and I didn't even watch Barbie. I just got told that was what happened. So then that's when I coined the John Walker thing.
Yeah,
because like that's what it was. Even though it's happened before John Walker. It was just John Walker was just the most popular thing I had.
Yeah.
when they unintentionally make the quote unquote antagonist like the most likable and heroic of the bunch. Honestly, I loved Miguel the second he meets Miles because Miles tries to be all jokey and then Miguel literally just throws shit at him, just like shut the fuck up. And I was just like, I love him already. And then they have this whole scene where they're on the train, and Miguel literally just tells Miles, it's like, you were not supposed to be bit. It's like, you don't belong here. He's like, you were a mistake. And I'm just like, Miguel, you don't need to sell me. I already like you, but damn.
I mean, yeah, he's saying that base things that a lot of us who are not Miles Morales fans are saying, but we know that the movie is not doing that to make him a hero. Yeah, we all know where it's going to go, and they're not doing it to make Miguel right. They're doing it to make him wrong in the next one.
Yeah, which it's funny how that works. Because they tried to do that with John Walker, and that didn't go too well there.
Mm-hmm.
God. I still, man, that show is it's just funny to think about certain stuff, especially when they have, because I'm assuming you guys didn't bother watching Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Nope.
Okay, right. So like John Walker's like partner, like.
Well, I know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. When his partner dies, and then he finally confronts the Freckle Jesus chick that did it. And he's like, you killed my best friend, and she's like, well, like he didn't matter to me, and John Walker literally goes, his life didn't matter, and I had like my mind instantly went, oh, the black man's life didn't matter to you, and it was just like,
they don't realize what they're doing. They're so caught up in trying to do other shit with the agenda, they forget the other half of their virtue signaling agenda crap that they have to talk about. And they lose track.
It was ridiculous. I mean, the second episode just like goes off the rails when it's like out of nowhere, Bucky and Sam get like accosted by cops, and it's like, this doesn't make sense because one, you two are in a black neighborhood. That's the last thing I'd expect cops to show up in. It's like if you were in like the white suburbs, that would make sense. Like you could at least fib it, but it's like you guys are in like literally the ghetto area. It's like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, that's the thing when you live inside this bubble of your own idea, is you don't see how other people are gonna perceive it, because you're all like, it's so obvious that this is what I meant, that you don't see there's a different argument to the back end of it. It's just like with the Barbie thing. They were so sure that they were making a movie that points out how if men would just step aside, women would make a perfect world because we're the thing that's fucking it up. And actually, it turned out everyone's going, actually, Ken's the best character in the whole damn thing. He's fighting off an oppressive.
You bring that up, Devil. You bring that up. And I just so happen that's one of the things that I did want to go to. We're hearing a lot of stuff, and we got a couple of guys. Let's do one of the topics I was going to bring up. And that was a great segue for it. All these guys who are trying to speak certain truths. We heard about the Zach Levi story last night and today, where he says everything's garbage and whatever. He's actually saying the truth, and whatever reason he's saying the truth. But then I saw this. Let's see if I got this. We all know this genius. You've seen him in several MCU properties. Randall Park. Park. This smiling numbnuts right here. Randall Park, after we heard one thing where Zach Levi says, oh, don't watch all this garbage. And this is relevant because I've been talking about this lady. Barbie, success. We accept it. We're going there. Whatever. Good. Fine. I'm ready to move on with my life. They're not going to learn the right lessons. And here's a perfect example. Nope. This guy says, Hollywood keeps taking the wrong lessons from successful movies. Yes. I've been saying that. You've been saying we know that. But here's his idea of the wrong lesson. For example, Barbie, this massive blockbuster, and the idea is make more movies about toys. No, that is first part answer. Right. Do not make more movies about toys. Do not. Because a lot of toys don't have a movie behind them. But then he adds this. Make more movies by and about women. I mean, that is not the lesson to learn.
Nope.
No, and I know that that's the thing with as much as I like to stay out of the Barbie discourse, because when that came out, it was just a nightmare to just be around in. I knew as soon as I saw it hit $1 billion, that's when my anxiety shot, because it's like, well, what's the lesson going to be learned from here? You know, like I know some people talk about like, well, now they learn maybe they'll focus only on girls' brands to do this. Like, no, that's never how that works.
No, there's only 2 lessons to learn from this. Lesson 1: make movies for the specific audience it's intended for, and you'll make money. 2: don't try to turn other IPs and franchises into a version for the audience it's not made for, because you're going to alienate the other audience. That is the lesson you're supposed to learn, but they haven't learned that lesson. That's not the lesson.
Yeah, I could point out multiple examples why this guy freaking whole argument falls apart. Yeah, Barbie success, great. What about the 355?
No,
didn't do good. What
I
about?
forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, most people did. What about the remake of Charlie's Angels?
Ooh.
What about the Ocean's 8? Did that do well?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Nobody
that one.
is looking for these female-centric. What about Birds of Prey? How
Oh.
did that do? Like,
Man,
no one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The lesson is make a movie on something that has roots. Barbie has roots, very deep cultural, social roots, decades long, coming up on 80, 90, 100 years worth of roots. There's an actual fan base for it. And take everything about the movie out of it. I've discussed this. There's passion. That's the key. There's passion, and they will go to it, and they did it. That's why it's breaking $1 billion, because they went to it again and again and again. And then brilliant marketing. But no amount of marketing is going to make Hot Wheels a successful movie. That's their next one. Hot Wheels. That's
I don't know. How the fuck are you gonna make a Hot Wheels
exactly.
movie?
Thank you, Bug. Thank you. How the hell do you make a movie out of Hot Wheels? 2, Polly Pocket.
Okay, what the fuck is a Polly Pocket?
Polly Pocket was there was a pair of, it was a craze of making mini play sets with little mini figures.
Yeah.
And for the boys, there was Mighty Max.
Yeah.
Who had a cartoon show, which was really good. Really good.
It was.
And it had a conclusion. It made it all the way to the end, even though the ending's kind of silly. It's kind of an odd way to do the ending, but still it had an ending. And then there was the other side of that. I mean, in Mighty Max, basically, he's the mighty one. His hat gives him the ability to travel to other realms, time travel, all shit like that, and fight monsters, and stop the Skull King from taking over the world and getting the cap. Then there was Polly Pocket. That's the other side, made for girls. Little Polly Pocket is basically little girl play sets. She's got a house. That's all it was.
The idea was that with Barbie, you have her playhouse and her car and all of her equipment. Polly Pocket's the whole idea was, we'll put that into a little pocket thing that kids can take, and they can take the entire game with them. They don't just have to take their Barbie. They can take the Barbie with her playhouse, with her car and everything, because it's in this little compact toy, and the kid can play from that. And I don't know how you're gonna make that into a movie. Like, but
I mean, the only way I can see that is, maybe I'm transported into the little Polly Pocket. Point is, Polly Pocket. This is early mid-90s. It was successful in that little moment of time.
Yeah,
but it does not have a lasting impact. It is not Barbie.
Yeah, they're like 2 years, maybe 3 years that they did Polly Pocket and Mighty Max.
Yeah, Mighty Max had one season. They made all the episodes. Boom, done. Yeah, you had to watch them on Sunday morning if you were going to see them all, because that's when it aired. It was so mid-tier, they wouldn't even put it on Saturday morning. It was a Sunday morning cartoon on a random channel. That's where it was. You had to, and then sometimes during the week on syndication on a couple channels, but you had to work to find Mighty Max. You had to work. So, but that's the thing. That's the lesson they're not going to learn. Don't make this choice. And then, like you said before, they're not going to learn the lesson. It's not about making movies for women. It's about making movies on IPs that women will be interested in. And it has to be something that could be normie nip. Barbie, and again, I underestimated this, and it took me 2 weeks to figure it out. Barbie is normie nip. Because
didn't Gary say that it was the white woman's Black Panther?
If he did, I missed that. That's
right.
It's a good one.
The reason Barbie, okay, I never I don't think I ever doubted. I might have said at some point, but really early, I thought it
doubted.
would do okay because I said, it has a big base because you're going to get the kids who are kids now, little girls who want to watch it. You're going to
Mhm.
get the girls who are mid-aged who remember Barbie when she went pink and stuff, and you're even going to get maybe the older ones that remember Barbie back when she was in the creepy fucking, frubby bathing suit. And you're going to get guys who are dragged there by the girls. So it has a broad enough base. I knew it was probably going to do well. And I have no problem with it being girl centric because I actually believe that when you have a movie that's pointed towards girls, it should be girl centric. Just like I believe the same thing for guy movies. We're just not allowed to have them anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think they needed to go authoritarian, suppress the kin idea. I said on somebody's show that I thought they had a much better route they could have went with it, and they totally missed it. But that's bad. That's the writers. They can't catch the obvious.
We've gone on that route. We spent like a good half an hour on roundtable coming with better ideas, and we could do it because Dre had gone to see it. So Dre was actually able to tell us what happened, and we said, why don't they do this? But you're absolutely right. I was sort of with you where you were in the beginning. I said always, and again, the receipts, that it would be a spectacle. I said it was going to be a spectacle movie, and it was going to do something. I had no idea it was going to do what it did. And then I wasn't saying, now I'm able to say, because you heard me say it, I wasn't saying it was going to have a massive drop the second weekend. I never said that. Because I said, when it happened, after that first $300 million weekend, I said, it'll make a couple $100 more million going into next weekend. And I said, if there was going to be a drop off, it would be in the following weekend if bad word of mouth happened. Because that's what I was theorizing. If Barbie was going to have a drop off, it was going to be in the third week if enough people were not happy with, as we do know, it's feminist agenda messaging, anti-patriarch message, anti-male messaging in this movie. That didn't happen.
Yep.
Because three things. One, the marketing was so damn good that it created the phenomenon. Two, passion for the IP, the same level of passion that I have for real Star Wars, where I will fight for it, I will cheer it, I'll do everything to help it that I can. That's the kind of passion we're dealing with here. And it's a passion coming from the normies, who are the ones putting in the amount of money that has moved this, and from the ideologues.
Yeah.
But that passion is there. And I think, and three, then that passion leads to repeat viewings, which that's how you get to $1 billion. And it took me 3 weeks to put that together. It took me 3 weeks to figure that out. And I admit that. But I never said it was going to fail. I never said it was going to have the 60-70% decline. I said word of mouth, if it catches on enough, may sink it in week 3. But I made it very clear. It might. And if it doesn't, then it's going to hit $1 billion. And that week 3 came around, and I made a video said it's going to make $1 billion now. It's inevitable. And I understand it. I get it.
That's why I said it was either I said, I don't know which one. I don't know which one's going to be, but it's either going to crash because the negative or it's going to end up doing real well. I said, and I have no clue. I cannot figure it out.
If the actor strike hadn't started and Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig and all the other hens kept yapping away, that might have changed things.
Yeah.
Because there might have been bad word of mouth because the interviews might have been pushed forward, and we might have had a Rachel Zegler moment on our hands where they couldn't escape things they were saying coming back.
Well, it doesn't matter about writer's strike, considering the chick who plays the new Snow White can't
Rachel
shut
Zegler.
up about it.
Yeah, we were talking about
well, now
her.
that's resurfacing, but we'd already seen all their stuff in the week before the strike happened, and I made a point that this was going to benefit Barbie, them not being able to promote it, and I think that was a factor, not the whole factor, but I think it played a role.
I think something that really did well on it too is, and somebody mentioned this, I can't remember who it was, but it made sense. It's also because it's a girl movie that says it's okay to be a girl. And you don't see those too much anymore. She's a beautiful girl. She keeps, she likes pink. She likes her girly stuff. They're not trying to butch her up. It's not like Barbie cuts off all of her hair, gets puts some tattoos and some piercings on and becomes a lesbian halfway through the movie. Yeah. she stays a very feminine girl. All of her friends are or I think some of them are beautiful. I don't know. I haven't seen all the other Barbies.
Apparently,
but
there's a lot of uggos. There's a lot of uggos.
Is there?
Yeah.
And yeah, and so it's like it almost gives girls permission to be girly, and they haven't had that for a while because, like I said, every single movie that's girl centric, they try to promote the girl being more like a boy, be a strong karate girl type. It's like, okay, no girl's interested in that shit.
Yeah.
Just you guys think they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the point. And yeah, Margot Robbie's hot. We've said that over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's people like pretty things. Like to appreciate pretty things. So this is learning all the wrong lesson, and this freaking male feminist soy boy piece of shit saying more movies by and about women. This movie did not make $1 billion because Greta Gerwig directed it. Okay, that's not why this movie made $1 billion. She just happened to be in the right place at the right time. She's the new Patty Jenkins. Remember Patty Jenkins? Wonder Woman almost made $1 billion. After that, Patty Jenkins everywhere. Patty Jenkins everything. Where's Patty Jenkins now? Giving talks at rando places that I saw the other day at rando ceremonies. Patty Jenkins is done in Hollywood because she had no talent.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder held her hand through Wonder Woman. Go ahead, Buck.
That's that. No, it's just Snyder. Every time I think about it, I just have that like twitch in my head. That just because the stuff he did, just like he's the reason like a lot of stuff with DC is just in a mess.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I don't disagree. I'm not the biggest fan of the Snyderverse. I like moments. But I'm not the biggest
moments
fan.
are good, but it's just but whew,
Yeah.
there's just too many like negatives that outweigh those moments.
All right, real quick, if you guys are having fun, those of you still here, remember hit that like button if you're enjoying yourself, and also if you haven't noticed, check out the pinned comment at the top of the chat. I need your help to decide about a new possible start time for Natural 20s on Wednesdays or Thursday. I'll figure that out after. Because times have been fluctuating due to certain things past couple weeks, and I'm getting mixed results on when people show up. So I'd like to hear in support. Right now, last I checked, it's a 50-50 split, but not a lot of votes. So please vote on it if you haven't. I appreciate your input, because it's the entertainment for you, and I want to provide the entertainment for that. All right, so let's see. All right, I got one thing. I want to wait for Samuel to get here because I want him here for the Star Trek topic I have. So I want him here for that. Yeah. And Ryan might show up too. So I want to save that. Let's see. What else have we got? Well, we're talking about good things, and we've been talking about good things all night, and how it's really sad when they butcher them, and how once upon a time it was really freaking easy to get pumped up for something good. Now, you guys watched Doctor Who when it was cool, when it was good? Did you guys watch that?
No.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Well, Doctor Who was great. It was fun. And I just came across this today. Oh, wait, shit. I got to put it in Chrome tab. Hang on. Wrong thing. I put it in Chrome tab. I came across this today. Random. I spent most of my day, and I know this is weird for me. I normally don't do it. I spent most of my day scrolling down Twitter rabbit holes because I was trying to do a project for Star Trek Engage. After I got a pre-done video up from yesterday, a clip video, I was doing a project for us on Star Trek Engage, which didn't work out. But while it was basically rendering and then uploading and this and that, I was just dicking around. I couldn't do anything else because I can't because the editing software takes up a lot of power and it makes the computer run hot. I tend to not do anything else while it's doing that. I let it go. So I couldn't record anything else. So I'm sitting back and I'm dicking around Twitter, and I found this right here. It's from Bad Wolf Archives, and I'm reading this out because I'm blowing it up so we get full screen. Now, this is how you showcase the talent of your series in an exciting and captivating way. So right away, if it's Bad Wolf, we're talking Doctor Who. And it was a trailer for part of the Matt Smith era. So let's just sit back and enjoy this for a minute and watch the really good casting faces, many famous faces you'll recognize that showed up for the 11th Doctor during his tenure.
One simple.
And also note the fucking banger 11th Doctor theme written by Murray Gold. I love this. Devil.
Not gonna be. Yeah, I don't know how we get from that to what we have now. It's just
no. They. This is when trailers got you excited, and it didn't. I mean, that's such a mashup of all those episodes. You have no idea what's going on, so it's not spoiling anything. All you see is Of course, you have Matt Smith giving another incredible Doctor monologue. He gave a lot of great ones during his run, and you just see these shots, and you see a lot of for this period of time, great actors and actresses who are just spot on. I mean, I believe I saw Kate Blanchett there. I mean, it's good stuff, man. And you're ready for it. And then that Murray Gold Doctor theme, it just gets you pumped. I love that theme. That theme is especially great because it's got that mix of adventure and then that tinge of hope in there. Because when things are in their bleakest moment, the Doctor is going to find a way. He's going to find a way, and that's what you get from the theme. And you watch it as when you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be adventure. It was something beautiful that they've ruined now with ideology and agenda. Ruined it. Damn shame.
Yeah, that's just kind of it sucks. Like either a trailer nowadays, it just only spoils it for you, or it just has some stuff in it that just does not like appeal to you, because it's like,
or it's completely lame. It's completely lame,
and it's like trailers are very important to any show or movie because that's their marketing. That's when I watch this is supposed to be like, hey, this is just a sample of what you could see. Please watch this, and it should be the most enticing, entertaining thing that just grabs you and says you're gonna watch this.
Yeah. I mean, I would play a couple of things, but I think we might have gotten away with that trailer. I might get a claim, but it's a trailer, so maybe not. We can't play any actual clips because they zonk you on that one real fast. I know that from watching other channels. But otherwise, I would play the Pandorica speech. That when he gives the Pandorica speech, I love that speech. But it's just these moments, it gets you pumped. And you brought up a great point. A trailer is supposed to get you excited. And they're supposed to make sense. But they're also not supposed to spoil shit. And they're supposed to not be dull. Perfect example. Right now, the Ahsoka trailers that just keep repeating over and over again, they just keep showing the same. It's a new trailer, but it's the same footage every time. Just a different angle, maybe. Or an extra second.
Donuts, that's the first 2 episodes.
No, I think we're seeing first and last. I think it's one of those first and last. Because the fight between Ahsoka and Baylan Skoll, that's not till the end. That's not going to be till the end.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah. The thing about like trailers would not tell you anything, like the big story. I think one of the best trailers I've ever seen was the cinematic trailer for Transformers: Fall of Cybertron. It's this great thing. It tells you all the big pieces of what you can do with this game. Like it starts with Optimus Prime carrying Bumblebee. Bumblebee looks like he's about to die. Everyone's fighting. You're seeing a lot of the characters you're going to be playing as. You'll see the Combaticons, and then you even see fucking Grimlock show up out of nowhere. And it's Grimlock. It doesn't spoil like the story. It just shows like, hey, these are things you're going to be messing around with in this game, and it's like beautiful action, and it's just like, oh, it's like, yeah, I want to buy that. I want to play it, not only because it's a sequel to a really good game, but this looks awesome, Like that's what trailers need to be, It's just like
And that's a video game trailer, right? That's a video game trailer. And
Yeah, it was amazing one. You know, had the like it was just like the Autobots and the Decepticons just blasting each other while the humbling river just played on. You know, just oof, damn good series that was. And then then Darkspark. Oh,
I never played them, so I will take your word for that.
Yeah, to sum it up, the first two were just trying to be its own thing. You know, like it was just like a reboot of G1, and then they tried to mash the last one into a movie tie-in.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it just did not make sense, and it was poorly made. It was just like bastardization and like just horrible.
That's an executive thinking, oh, let's try and do this, and if I'll get a big bump if I make this work. Oh, not understanding that no, you just fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, so there's no spark, there's no passion, there's no fire in any of that shit anymore. And it's either boring or they ruin it.
Rare.
Or they ruin it. I mean, every MCU trailer ruins the movie in terms of plot-wise. It's a bad plot anyway, but you know what's happening. You know where it's all going. There's no surprises.
They're not even exciting anymore. Like then again, who the hell is going to be excited for Marvels? Like that was a nothing burger there. And then and then the what was it, Loki season 2 trailer drop, and I was like, I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
And mostly because that's my most despised show out of the entire Disney Plus show bunch, because that one did the most damage for me, and I'm just like, nope, I ain't falling for this. I know the tricks.
I never fell for anything post Endgame. I was out immediately because I saw where it was going. As soon as I saw we were getting Captain Falcon and the Winter Not Soldier anymore, I knew it was going to be bad. And I also wasn't interested in the movies either. All I saw was things I didn't care about, and I only did She-Hulk for the YouTube. That's the only reason I did it, and I got burned for it because one, I didn't get a lot of traction out of that in the algorithm. Didn't really do much for me, and two, it kicked me in the balls again by turning out to be a goddamn giant fucking troll job. Oh, take that, nerds! Take that, incels! We made this whole show to make fun of you.
I love that you wasted like almost $225 million for that.
Way to sink the ship even faster, you morons.
I swear, if I was a boss and I found that someone spent like $225 million of my money just to tick somebody off, oh, there'd be a body.
Here's the problem: the boss, Kevin Feige, is an idiot at this point.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about just Feige. I'm talking about like the Iger people, because like Iger or whoever the hell is up there, you know.
It was bobblehead Chapek at that point. Still, it was still bobblehead, but Iger was still in charge. We all know Iger was still in charge.
Well, yeah, because like, the whole point of it was like Iger left, Chapek was still like he still had to do stuff that was left over from Iger's thing, which. Great timing that was, because he gets sacked with all of Iger's bad.
He set the table.
Crap. Yeah,
he set the table for 15 years. Son of a bitch. But yeah, it was a disaster, and everything that's come out of it is bad. I mean, the Daredevil Reborn is already, even before it got delayed because of the strikes, it was already facing huge backlash.
Yeah.
From everybody who liked the Daredevil on Netflix.
Yeah, because they said their idea was, oh, we'll use because everyone loves this. It doesn't matter if they love that one. You're not doing that one.
Yeah.
The costume looked ridiculous.
God.
It wasn't going to follow the same kind of fighting, you know, because that what was made Daredevil so great was the fights were so damn good in that freaking first season, which is great. And yeah, they were gonna soften that, and they'd put Elektra in there and have her be the hero. He'd be cucked in his own show, probably. To be honest,
wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all.
God, I remember pointing out the yellow suit and how that shit looked goofy. People were giving
It
me
looked
crap.
terrible.
And it's
And I
like, well,
love.
they're like, it's his first suit. It's like, yeah, there's a reason why he doesn't wear that thing anymore.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
they changed
Exactly.
it to red because the yellow
Yeah.
looked terrible. Okay, and Stan Lee only had that shit look yellow because he made something like where Daredevil could see it. That was the only reason he had, and that didn't stick.
Yeah, and the fact is, if you're a vigilante hero who goes out at night and beats the shit out of freaking bad guys, you're not gonna wear something you could see from a mile away.
Yeah.
Like,
At least go back to the black and red variant.
yeah,
you know?
wear a parking cone if you're gonna do that shit. It's like,
Yeah,
seriously,
and
it's stupid.
it's like, here's the thing: the suit was already made. You had the mold right then and there. All you needed to do, and all anyone really wanted, was just slap the Daredevil logo on the chest, the
Yep.
double D. Just all you needed to do. I would have given you a thumbs up. Good, but no, you covered that shit in mustard and like it was crap.
Hey, I'd like to cover some double D's in mustard. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but I mean, just I guess any excuse to get a hot toy out.
That reminds me. That reminds me of the Turtles movie. Remember that? You want some mustard with that?
Yeah,
Michelangelo when he's eating him with the sausage.
Oh god.
But
But about the also funny thing about the hot toy thing, because they did 2 figures for She-Hulk because they have to do figures for all of them. She-Hulk wasn't even the first action figure in that line that got revealed. Nope, it was fucking Daredevil first because everyone, even the company, knew it was like, yeah, no one's gonna want to buy the She-Hulk figure. Just release the Daredevil one, even if it's the mustard colored variant.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
So do you think when they start selling off every asset they have, trying to keep that boat afloat, who do you think might buy up Marvel?
I don't know.
You're muted.
I think I don't think.
You're muted, Adam.
turned off my microphone.
Yeah.
Thank you. I sometimes I will mute myself by hitting the button here, and sometimes I'll do it on there, and I didn't realize I hit the button. Yes, Marvel's going to be the last thing they sell off. It's that's at the tail. The first thing I'm still telling you, when end of next year, when KK walks out the door of her own volition, not forced
Or
out,
in a body bag.
Yeah, in Minecraft. Or not forced out, she'll get her ticker tape parade. She'll get all the accolades of the greatest ever, and whatever patsy they put in place after her. Lucasfilm's going to be the first thing on the chopping block. I guarantee it. A lot of people say no, that, the licenses, they can make money milking the OT and the PT. I don't see them making money off of that shit right now. That people are projecting. They're not buying. So that's good. But
buying. Like the last 2 HasLab things from Star Wars flopped. And
the current one hasn't. The Ghost didn't, but that was explained to me by Dre, where that was a con thing. They announced it at the con, where they had the thousands of people already there, and then they quickly moved it around in their little rebel circle. That's why it made it. The Ghost got funded. The giant Ghost got funded. Yeah, but that's because, like it or not, even though I make fun of it a lot, Rebels has its little weird fan base.
Yeah.
It's a weird fan base, and there's enough of them to put in the 8,000 orders that they needed to trigger the first level of it.
I didn't know about that one. I only knew about the other 2, which was the Reva lightsaber and then the Rancor, which
the Rancor was part of Fatigue, and the Reva, that was Karma.
Yeah, that was
Karma, because no one liked Reva.
No one liked Reva.
No one cared about Reva.
Also, for an Inquisitor lightsaber, can't even do like the one goofy function that it's got, which is do like the super spin thing. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Now,
ow.
Are you okay?
Poke myself on the side of the head with my glasses. With the Inquisitor thing, it's also such a retarded fucking lightsaber. It's retarded.
Oh yeah. I hate
Yeah.
it so bad.
Make your own Christian. Hey, Filoni. In your Ahsoka show, if you don't make them do the stupid lightsaber helicopter thing, you're a
Oh,
fucking
God.
coward. You're a fucking coward. Just fucking do it, you coward. I can't
God,
wait.
when I first saw them pop up in Kenobi, I was like thinking, "Oh God, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it." I was waiting
I was
for it. I
praying
was like,
for it. I wanted it so bad, but no.
because like I didn't even watch Rebels, but I saw the clip of that happening.
watched
I'm like,
enough.
"Oh God."
I watched enough of Rebels to be dangerous. Let's just say I watched enough to be dangerous, so I can properly roast it and make fun of it for the crap that it is. But yeah, it's so yeah. They're and again, Hasbro's the one making that money on the Ghost, not Disney. They're the one who are profiting from that.
Yeah, but it's still, but even then, they get the pushback because like no one wanted to buy the Reva and the Rancor, which I would assume is something a lot of people would want to have in their collection.
It was this close. It was like a couple hundred short of hitting its goal.
Yeah, that didn't really go out there. So now maybe that's just the Hasbro thing and just issues there because it wasn't like their Star Wars stuff wasn't the only thing that had issues. Like their last Marvel Legends thing, which was the Ghost Rider card, that didn't really go out too well. That was a nightmare and a half.
Their best-selling stuff is the Transformers and G.I. Joe. That's what moves the most.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to pay any licensing issues or anything like that.
Because they own the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, that moves the most. But it's just fascinating. So yeah, but when Marvel gets sold, to your original point, going down this lane of thought, that's so far down the line, I can't predict that yet. Because I can't really see. I mean, it's already MCU, Marvel, Disney Marvel's already in such a bad state as it is right now. I can't imagine what it's going to look like when you get to that point. Because it's not as though we're waiting for Kevin Feige to walk out the door. It's not as though we're waiting for something to really happen. It's just, it's Weekend at Bernie's zombie shambling along, being pushed forward by others. And here's the thing. The next two movies, the Marvels and Black Falcon, and they're not calling it New World Order anymore. They changed the title. It's just Black Falcon America. With Hulk characters, with incredible Hulk characters. These next two movies are going to be telling. The Marvels, we don't know the budget yet. It has to be astronomical because they've delayed this 5 times.
Yeah, and this movie does not have the luxury of being wedged in between two of the biggest Avenger movies of all time.
Yeah.
And there's no hype, there's no hypnosis, there's no suckering you into going to see it. You don't know. People know. That was the don't know with Captain Marvel. But now we know. And knowing is half the battle. And they and they expect you to have done homework for this movie. And no one's done that homework.
It's getting to that point where you're gonna have to start doing homework for it because it's like for the Marvels you have to do like 3 shows and a whole nother movie for that, and it was already like a struggle session with Multiverse of Madness because it's like they expect you to watch that show because if you haven't watched that show, when you get told, oh, Wanda took over a small town in between the movies, you go, wait, what?
Huh?
What?
Mm-hmm.
That don't make sense. And it's going to be the same thing with the Black Falcon movie. Because it's going to be like, well, here's all these things that happen. It's like, wait, what? That don't make sense.
Yeah, have you watched Ms. Marvel, which we're going to put out on air on network broadcast television, on real network television, so you can watch it and get caught up. And people going, huh? Who's this chick? I don't care who this is. Where's Captain America? Where's Iron Man?
No one cared about this character. Like
never.
The final episode where they try to retcon it in that she might potentially be the MCU's first mutant character.
Oy.
Like it was it was ridiculous. Like no one was talking about it at all. I remember making a couple posts here or there. It'd get a little traction, but like no one was talking about. No one was talking about it.
Yeah, I
the
only
end.
talked about it to make fun of its low ratings. That's the only one I talked about it because look, it's failing. It's the worst rated MCU show ever.
Yeah, and still holds that title.
Yeah, I thought Secret Invasion was going to take it, but Secret Invasion still managed to pull in 200,000 more viewers than Ms. Marvel.
Well, I think that's just because everyone knows Nick Fury. No one knows who the fuck Kamala Khan was.
Hey, sorry, I gotta keep going to cough. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's like it's just ridiculous. You know, the Secret Invasion, like that big.
Yeah,
that big
it was
story.
terrible.
You condense a story like that into a crappy, I think it was like a 6-episode little mini series. It's like you can't really do that. Like if you wanted to do like a 6-episode mini series of Nick Fury, it should have just been actual spy shit.
It's their no plan problem. They have no plan except MCU. The only plan they got MCU. That's the only plan they got. MCU.
Yeah.
So back to your original point on this. The Marvels will tell us something because once we know the budget, and then we'll estimate the real budget when we see that. And we know the marketing campaign has been hot. They're already pushing it. When that flops, and it will flop, I'm going to go out on that limb and say it's going to flop. I know it's a pretty thick and solid limb to be out on. It's going to flop.
It ain't making money.
You know, it ain't making money. Or I don't think they can buy seats for this one. Let's just say. Yeah, but then the next one, Black Falcon America and the cast of another Incredible Hulk movie. When that happens, that's going to be telling.
Yeah,
there's your benchmark right there.
Yeah.
That's going to tell us everything we need to know about the health of the MCU. The Marvels, that's such a joke, and I don't know if we can know that, but when Black Falcon America and Incredible Hulk Jr. happen, that's going to tell us everything we need to know. What is it?
Yeah,
I think it's April. Is it April?
Yeah, I think the Falcon one is going to be the real big judge because so far it just seems like the Marvels is just dead on arrival, and it's like, and I can only see Yeah, and I can only see the Falcon movie maybe doing slightly better because there will be that hinge of curiosity to it.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not. It's not much, I know, but it's like it's the only thing that I'd say it would draw people in because it's a character that mostly people liked up until his show.
Up until now. But like, I don't know. Maybe normies will still gravitate toward it. Well, here's the thing. I think they already have fucked up. I just looked up their release date, July 26th next year. So it's 7/26/24. Captain America. If you're gonna call it Captain America 4, wouldn't it be smart to put it out around July 4th?
Yeah,
wouldn't that be good marketing?
Well, yeah, you should be.
No,
like
we're gonna throw it out at the end of July, and this isn't 10 years ago or 6, maybe 7 years ago when the other production companies would see an MCU movie and go, oh shit, we're not going to release in this month. We're not releasing within 3 weeks of this thing. We're not getting any money. You see Captain America 4, not Captain America. Every other production company is going to go, all right, let's go. Let's do it. We're here now. We're not afraid to go up against this. We're not afraid to put out something to cut it out in the knees, either the first weekend or the second weekend. We're not afraid. And that's going to be the telling. Let's wait. Like I said, not only will we see its own production, its own numbers, but let's see what its competition is at the end of July 2024. What's its competition? Who's out there? Could we be getting... Well, no, we're not. I would say, could we get Mission Impossible 8? No, because that hasn't even gone into production yet. But It is. It's not. It's. I'm not wrong word. It's going to tell us all those factors could tell us everything. No, its failure will tell us everything we need to know. Quick people coming in here. I already brought up Asia Del Puber. Yes, imagine a Disney Punisher. What he's gonna throw hugs at you. That's what he's gonna do.
Don't remind me of Punisher. Of all the
Struggle
stuff they've been doing
Huggles.
that-
That's a new one. Struggle Huggles. Let's do that one. Alex Vang, hail Alex Vang. Rhodey was a Skrull Civil War. Wouldn't that wreck? Yep, and that's they're already paying the price for that one. They've already paid the market price for that one.
Yeah,
hail
just
to
for
you.
cheap shock value.
Hail Lyle Hammock. What's up? Just dropping by to say hi before I go to bed. Did anyone see the embarrassment of SOF overtaking Indy? Oh, Sound of Freedom. Yes, I did see that article. Yeah, that again, the embarrassment continues. The embarrassment continues for all things Disney. That's what we're talking about. When does it hit the point of no return? And for Marvel, again, to bring back to Bug's point, when will they lose it? We'll know by the end of next year, I think, how much longer the MCU has after the failure of all the remaining shows they're going to push out, and after the failure of the Marvels and Captain America 4, no Captain America in sight. Hey, Samuel, how you doing?
You guys are really lucky I decided I didn't want to go get me a expensive Asian massage with the option for microtransactions.
I'm laughing while I'm coughing.
I'm doing all right. How you fellas doing tonight?
We're I think we're doing okay. We're not too salty. It's been a good conversation tonight. You were here with us for the movie part.
I was.
All right. But now that you are here, I'm glad you're here. I do have another article topic, and I was hoping you'd make it tonight, and I because I know you will have definitely something to say about this. Where is it? Do I have it up here? Oh no, I didn't bring it up yet. Let me get it. I swear to God, one of these days I will organize myself the way I used to organize myself. I used to be better at this, guys. I used to be so much better at this. And then I got sick, and I think I caught derby-itis, which makes me dumber. Oh my!
Yeah, it makes you dumber. It makes you run away from women.
Bug, have you seen this yet? Bug,
you got cursed for making that awful video.
Yeah, Bug, have you seen what I? Did you watch it in the? Well, even if you haven't, I'm gonna play it again because Samuel's here.
Because
fuck you so much.
I can't prove whether Renaissance Nerd is telling you the truth or not. Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
Oh, it's so dark.
I saw the Big Daddy clip. I didn't need the reminder of Derby's like Hank Hill ass.
I mean, you know, when you showed when that image first made its rounds, and then Ryan was like, "Oh, you know, look, he's wearing these small shorts," and I was like, "Dude, I looked again. Those are boxers. His shorts are on the fucking ground next to him.
Oh no,
that's underwear."
Oh no!
Take a closer look at that picture. You can see.
I don't want to take a closer look at that.
Yeah, I got it right here. I've got it right here. It's on my desktop because I was using it for that video meme.
He took his pants off in public.
Oh, you are right.
Oh,
you showed us pervert pictures.
Derby, you fucking degenerate. I know you're listening. You're either in a plane or you're on your way home right now.
With his pants off.
What the fuck?
Look, there it is right there.
No!
He was wearing those things underneath. Oh my.
Where's the skid marks?
Well, they're new, so give him a minute.
So he's brave enough to whip his fucking pants off in the middle of public, but he sees one bunny girl. That motherfucker runs. I'm so upset over that.
I mean,
look in the background. There's people running away.
Dude, I'd run away too.
The police security was notified, and they made sure he left after this. I mean, seriously, Adam was so smart to just make us to watch that on Friday. I had no idea that it was going to be that good. And you guys weren't there because we were off air. So we went we wonder, what are we going to do on Ball Busters? What are we going to do? Dermy's not going to be there. The whole point of Ball Busters, like 90% of it is to just beat up Dermy. Well, Dermy was there, in the form of his own stream that he ran and just did shit like this. And if you guys got to go watch it, it's on Vets Talking, Adam Soldier Spirits channel. It was fantastic. But when we were done, 3 hours, we went 3 hours. We had a good time. Guess who the fuck rolls in 5 minutes after we're off camera? Jeremy fucking rolls in, drunk off his ass. Hey guys, I can't hear you. I love you all except Adam. I hate you. Both. He yelled at both Adams. He yelled at both of us. But show up to your own damn show. Not only first of all, stream better. Stream better. And if you're doing a live stream in that, do it better. Don't run away from the hot bunny girl when she wants to talk to you. Don't walk away from Cecil and Critical Drinker when you've already taken pictures of them like an hour ago. It means they're okay with your presence, despite the fact you probably smell like ham. They're already okay with your presence.
He's
walk
polio
over
bait.
to them and make YouTube video gold of having a quick stream conversation with internet folk hero Cecil and Critical Drinker, one of the most popular personalities in our sphere and going beyond our sphere right now. And then you can take that and clip it out and put it up on the channel for these days you're not around and have the algorithm not forget you, and also show something people want to see, their favorite internet personalities giving you the time of day. Do that. No, I'm going to F off and go wander around and just do everything
You didn't even really go into any of the moves. You just kind of like just wandered like a fucking penguin. Just, you know. And then it's like the bunny girl. It's like the bunny girl was totally in for it. She's like, "Oh, you're streaming." It's like, "Oh, cool."
Exactly.
Now,
It's
maybe,
like, hi.
maybe she was just obviously just trying to like get some attention.
Doesn't matter.
To her
Bunny girl.
But it's like, dude, you could have used her as a thumbnail, my guy. Like,
I know.
Algorithm, titties.
Yeah.
I
Instead,
clicked on it, there were titties.
Instead, this is this. Oh, do I have his thumbnail for it still here? I think I do. Yeah. Well, I have the first one. I have the second. No, I don't have it. Well, instead, his thumbnail was another version of this. It wasn't this one. This is the one of the failed stream, which we gave him shit over the previous day because he didn't know it was up for start time for 12 hours almost. Instead, it was another thumbnail like this.
Dude, he looks like he's on the run from the FBI.
He is on the run from the FBI right now. Don't kid yourself.
He either looks like he's on the run for the FBI. I mean, pair this with the image you just had up on the screen and that god-awful, evil little fucking thing that you made, right? and like, honestly, it just looks like Dermy's resigned to his fate of having to go meet Uncle Billy Bob out in the woodshed.
It's time to clean Grandma's underwear.
Yes. Those were, as Samuel pointed out, that didn't register that you pointed out. Yes, those were his pants on the floor.
First time I saw it, I thought it was like his backpack or his fucking fanny pack or whatever the hell it was he was carrying around with him. But I just like, part of me is like, I should look at that again, and I did, and I was like, my God, that man has his pants off.
All you poor people in the chat, Adam just showed you porn you didn't want to see.
And it still looks like his shirt is tucked into his underpants.
Yes. Jeremy, stop tucking your shirt into your pants, even when you're at home. Just stop. Take off the damn sunglasses.
I never tucked that in. It's just, no.
Yeah, I haven't tucked it in since I left, since I had to stop wearing, since high school when they made us, wear khakis and shirts and shit like that.
You tuck in dress shirts.
Yeah.
You tuck in dress shirts. You wear a nice belt with some nice slacks. You don't tuck in t-shirts.
Yeah.
Dermy's tucking in his pajamas. He's tucking in his shirt when he wears his shirt to the pool because he's too fat to be naked on top.
Hey, I've done that. I wasn't a specimen at the beach. I did that at one point. It's like, yeah, I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not in shape. That ain't happening.
What's funny about that though is like Dermy would absolutely tuck his pants into his shirt into his bathing suit at the beach, but he'd still wear a white shirt.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. And we know at some point he's going to listen or watch to this, so that's why we're giving you your moment of Dermy.
Seriously though, like he looks a lot better than he did. The working out is paying off for him. I hope he keeps that shit up. Because, you're kicking ass, man. Keep it up. But also stop being, weird and gross.
Now, I mean, we are Ball Busters on Friday is going to be a treat. I believe we have a special guest. I think it's okay to announce it. I think he said it publicly already.
I don't think so.
Okay, then I won't say it. I know who it is. I'm pretty sure it's this week. That it was the post Matsuri guest. So I won't say it. Dermy hasn't said it yet publicly. I won't say it. I think he has. Maybe he said it drunk. I don't remember. But I won't not reveal it because it's not my place to reveal it.
Yeah, I can't remember. So just.
Oh, I know. I'll hang on. I'll put it in the private chat. I'll tell you who it is in private chat. But yeah, it's he does this to himself. So even if we do have this guest on Friday, we're gonna be merciless. If he thought it was bad with Yellow Flash, where he hadn't done anything yet, and it was still the game to get him to say Big Daddy, we have all this stuff from the past weekend. And I'm sure that Gal has much more pictures and footage that she hasn't shown us yet because she was there.
That poor girl.
Did she punch him? Did she end up punching him? Do we have that?
I don't. I saw like a photo.
There were the pose pictures, but
I don't know about the actual punch.
I want that. I want Dermy getting punched in the dick. And you're like, oh no. But yeah, so
shit, Adam, you gave me a perfect idea for an edit for the intro that I got to do.
Are you going to use Mortal Kombat?
I actually am going to use Mortal Kombat as a clip because
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, a soldier's asking me to do an intro for him, and I'm like, oh,
there you go.
Since Gal and Derby are on the panel list, it's like, okay,
I'm happy to help. I'm so happy to help. But yeah, so we're gonna be ruthless on Friday. I'm just sorry Raster wasn't there for last Friday, so now Raster will be back, and we'll probably have the full panel again. It's gonna be brutal, but he brings it on himself. Look at this. Look at him. Takes his pants off in public and.
Man, I'm so glad that I have a show I have to be on when Ballbusters is on.
Yeah, I mean, Bug comes in when he feels like it, but Devil and I are always there, and we're gonna we suffer it. Anyway, so that gave me time to set this up. So Samuel, I'm glad you're here because here's one of my prearranged topics. Oh crap! God damn it! Sharing Dermy's dumbass
and there
picture
it goes.
took it off. Sharing Dermy's dumbass picture had it removed from my ready to go. Okay,
the back taco ate it.
Yeah. So Star Trek Discovery deserves more credit for saving the franchise.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh
my god.
Yeah, it's time to get angry. I didn't have a 10 thing list this week, but I had this one. Like, oh, this will be good. Nearly 60 years after its debut, Star Trek is thriving as a franchise. That's a funny joke.
Is this revenge for labeling you the red shirt? Because that honestly was Horny Alf's idea. I'm just saying.
I know. No, there's no revenge on that. I wear that with a badge of pride, or my clones do. I'm alive and well. Anyway, but none of this would be possible without the USS Discovery and Mikey Burnham. Wow. Joshua M. Patton. God, I hope you're not related to the great general. God, I hope you're not. Because he would be turning in his grave to hear you say something.
Yeah, Adam, I'll be right back. I'm going to go eat a bottle of rat poison.
Okay. Just time
Share.
it. Share. It's the collective intransigence of the studios forced by the strikes. The annual Star Trek Vegas convention was a little different in 2023. While still a celebration, the cast of Discovery was prevented from talking about the show's upcoming forced, canceled final season. It's
It
being
was canceled because
canceled.
it sucks and no
It's
one was watching it.
canceled. It's not successful. Never has been. On its debut, Discovery wasn't warmly received by some fans, has never been warmly received. Disco fans are not fans. They're disco fans. They have STD.
Stop calling it disco. That's their word. It's STD.
Oh, really? Okay, STD. Well, I want them. I thought that calling them disco was making fun of them. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
No, they
yeah.
love that shit.
Oh, they do. Okay, then I apologize.
But it does open up to the joke that you know, with this upcoming cancellation and all, that disco is in fact dead.
Okay, wait. Thank you for saving me there. But
Disco's
the show
never dead.
The show
love the Bee Gees.
Shut up, devil.
For saving the Star Trek franchise from Hollywood oblivion. Oh my god. Okay, that is so stupid because Star Trek would have benefited from being quiet for another decade.
They could have never made another episode again, and all of the content that had been made up to that point was evergreen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
People would continue to go back and watch it. We'd continue to introduce new generations to it.
We're proof of that every Sunday right now.
Yeah, it might have become more of a cult thing given over time, but it would have survived.
But I mean, and it survived its cool down period from in the early to late 80s when there was just the TOS movies. But then that was enough of a cool down period where people were ready when TNG was introduced. They were receptive because also it was the smart to do a time skip. Forward, not backwards, like freaking STD. And you had a chance, and then it was a whole new story and a whole new adventure. And then, of course, the success gave us DS9 and Voyager, and to an extent, Enterprise. This has done nothing but sink the franchise. Like every other franchise has been poisoned by lack of talent. So, no, it did not say oblivion. It would have benefited because it would have been a cool down period to get us past this shit, and it would have been poisoned. More than half a century since Roddenberry's Wagon Train to the Stars debuted, Star Trek isn't just still around, it's thriving. In the 2020s, Discovery, Prodigy, Picard, Strange New Worlds, and Lower Decks were all in production at the same time. Oh my God.
It's thriving in the same way that the Black Plague thrived throughout Europe.
Yeah, it's spreading this disease. The only thing, and let's be honest, 2/3 of Picard is dog shit.
Yep.
It's complete and utter dog shit. It's the third season where they didn't care, and I say it from their direction, they mistakenly and unknowingly allowed a real Star Trek fan who has the ability to make good television be given the reins.
Not just a real Star Trek fan. I mean, worked on Enterprise and Voyager.
And didn't he do a little DS9 too?
No, I think he came up under Ira Stephen Bear, but I don't think he actually did much more to fetch coffee on Deep Space Nine. But he was given more leeway on Voyager, and then they asked him to come in and start, like, you know, taking some heavy responsibility with Enterprise.
But he watched and learned.
Oh yeah,
because Ira Stephen Bear is he's my favorite of that era because I thought his decisions on DS9 were great. I mean, it was all good stuff. And now, imagine though, now we are able. Did you ever think you would go, man, I miss Brandon Braga? Imagine saying that.
You know,
wow.
There was a time when the names of a lot of the producers and showrunners, obviously Roddenberry, everybody knew who Roddenberry was, but in a lot of cases, people had no idea who they were if their faces weren't on screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of want to go back to that time because that means they were doing their jobs right.
Yep.
Now we all know their names and they're all out there giving their opinions about this and saying things about that and making shit shows.
Yep.
And we all know that's what they're doing because they're spending more time being like pseudo celebrities than they are being producers and writers and what have you, crew members. Well, to be fair, a lot of the crew members are just people who are coming to work and doing their jobs. But even the actors, you didn't really know the actors. You just know, hey, this person plays this character. I really like this character, and that was the end of it. I miss those days. The only reason I know who Ira Stephen Bear is because I looked it up after the fact. Deep Space Nine started when I was in my teens. I didn't care about who was producing it.
Yeah.
I didn't care about who was writing it. I just wanted to see my characters come onto the screen.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was at the time. It's only later when, as I got older and I'm watching all this stuff over and over again, and I'm paying attention to who directed an episode, who wrote an episode, who's the producers, who's the showrunner. It's then I'm realizing, okay, this is the guy that's in charge. Okay, I like what he's doing. And if I see his name attached to this, I know it's going to be good. So you're exactly right. You know, you learn the names, but then you just know their names when it's attached to a good product. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but all these shows.
Did you watch that documentary, What We Left Behind?
No.
You should.
Okay.
Check it out. I don't know if it's free, but I know it's available on YouTube. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Basically, it's a documentary, follows around Ira Stephen Bear and Associates, talking about, all the things that went into Deep Space Nine. And at a certain point during it, a bunch of the old writers' room gets back together, including what the hell was the name of the guy who rebooted Battlestar? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I know who it is. I forget his name too because he worked on TNG. Yeah, because he worked on TNG. That's where he.
Yeah, and he also was he was also in the writers' room for most of Deep Space Nine. In fact, BSG is basically what he wanted to do with Deep Space Nine, but he didn't have total control. And they get back together and they write another episode. Like in the documentary. Like obviously it's never going to get filmed or anything, but just to kind of get their hats back into it. And it's a very good documentary. Very cool.
Thank you, Agent Dale Cooper. Ronald D. Moore. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to remember his acronym, but I kept going Russell T. Davies, RTD. No, that's not it. That's
Yeah, it was Ron Moore. Thank you guys. So they get it's a very good documentary. It's very nostalgic. And it's nostalgic from the showrunner and the writer's points of view. There's a lot of other stuff in there too, like Terry Farrell, I think, is in it at one point talking about all the stuff that led to her firing. They get a bunch of cast and crew together to talk about things. And I think this was made before Aaron Eisenberg passed, so he might be in it too. But definitely check it out.
Okay, I mean, I need a lot of reminding and prodding to do that kind of stuff. So keep pushing me going forward, because I will memory hold it. I promise you, I'm going to memory hold it. I will not lie. It'll get memory hold. But we got all these. So they listed, and these are all horrible. And I would wager something like Lower Decks is it's a mockery of Star Trek. It's a disgusting mockery of it. But anyway, so we're all and there are people out there, the STDers are going to say, this is peak Star Trek. Look at all these things. I mean, here's the thing. Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Prodigy wasn't even a Star Trek property? They rebranded it and made it Star Trek. It was something else. I believe I remember hearing that. Well, all right. Never had there been so many active Star Trek projects at once. Not too shabby for the franchise pushing 60 years old. No, I'd rather go back when you kind of had them just slightly overlapping. When you maybe had a movie and the show.
There was a reason they were doing that.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to oversaturate the market with their IP. They wanted people to pay attention, to be involved, to be invested. This is just like the Disney Plus MCU crap. It's all over the fucking place, and it's impossible to follow.
I mean, it's one thing to be like, okay, I've got an episode of TNG, and oh look, I got another episode of DS9 this week. Okay, TNG's clearly winding down. We're in the final seasons. DS9's getting started. Let's rock and roll. And then DS9's winding down. Okay, now I got Voyager. Great. And I got a movie in here once in a while. But it was, like you said, balanced, not saturated.
Well, and
now it's in your face.
When they did overlap, though, they were tied in, but loosely, so that they could each be their own thing. Like, Deep Space Nine ties into TNG via the Battle of Wolf 359. Right. And then later they reintroduce Worf after O'Brien comes on. He gets transferred and all that stuff. And then when Voyager happens, they overlap with Deep Space Nine because it's tying into the whole Maquis thing, which but then it goes off and it becomes its own thing.
Yeah, and because TNG and DS9 because Enterprise is in the premiere episode, it's docked at DS9, and you get a brief moment with Picard and Cisco. Point is, there were even a couple of crossover episodes here and there while they were still airing at the same time, especially the whole Data with the Dream episodes.
I think there's even one with Thomas Riker at one point.
Yeah, Tom Riker. Yeah, Tom. That's season 2, I think.
Yeah, loops into the Maquis too.
Yeah, and that ties up the Tom Riker story arc for him because he's in jail, probably still in jail, maybe even dead. Who knows? Not too shabby of a franchise pushing 60 years old. In fact, season 3 of Picard, both seasons of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks are all generally beloved. Lies.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, our own Rastercaster likes Strange New Worlds, or at least he did until the singing episode. And nobody likes Lower Decks. Nobody likes it. And we all really enjoyed Picard season 3, but we know what it was. It was the love letter. It was the I'm sorry. And it was the let's give this the proper goodbye it deserved.
The first time I heard anybody like nicely talk about new Star Trek was the Picard season 3. Every other thing, the only people who are talking about it with any reverence was media. Every single person was like, no, it's shit and I don't like it. It's just media. No one else liked it. It's bullshit.
Yep.
I know a bunch of Trekkies in my life, bunches of them, normies, most of them, aside from like loving Star Trek. A lot of the, they're not into like YouTube or entertainment commentary spheres or anything like that, so they don't hear about a lot of this stuff. The ones who do know that Lower Decks exists don't know anything about it. And they don't because none of this stuff was advertised. First of all,
it's all advertised on streaming.
Yeah, or if you don't have Paramount Plus, and they just and the ones who do know anything about it aren't fucking interested. They're like, I didn't sign up for that. I remember this the last time they tried to do an animated Star Trek in the 70s, and it was shit.
I watched that. I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk about it on Engage, but I saw that because they used to.
We're skipping that one.
Oh, we have to. Yeah, I mean, they put it on mixed in when it was the afternoon block of Voltron, Robotech, Thundercats, Silverhawks, all that stuff. Guess what started off the block? Star Trek Year 5 cartoon. So I watched that shit as a kid. I sat through it. Dale Boober, I know I was a little kid. I was not old enough to really enjoy it, and I don't remember enjoying it. Now, when I saw the movies, then I really got into it, and then I watched some TOS, and then when TNG happened, I was on board. But honestly, all I saw was, why are you keeping me from Voltron? Why are you keeping me from Voltron? Why can't we get to Voltron faster? I want to watch Robotech. That's all. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it wasn't engaging for a kid. For at least I wasn't engaged by it. To pun that a little bit.
Well, it is to Star Trek what that god awful Saturday morning cartoon was to Stargate.
Is it canon? Does it count?
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
It isn't.
The cartoon, the Star Trek cartoon. I do believe it's canon.
Well, we're still not watching it. We got enough on our plate.
Yeah, we didn't want to make it 15 years. The 14 we can get by, but 15 years that'd be stretching it.
I figure at some point I think we'll get a little faster, and the gay jokes will die down a little bit. I mean, now I mean for this week's episode, because I watched it twice today because I was trying to make that work before I realized. I watched it once and I had to start watching it over again. But when I realized the file wasn't correct, but there'll be a little jokes on this one, but it's a more serious episode than like last week's. I think we'll get through it with less gay jokes. Misogyny jokes are gonna be all over it. So
Last week had 3 instances of ass slapping and some dudes in
And-
leotards rolling
and-
around on the floor.
and
So I mean, it was
tumbling
wide
Tuesdays.
open to it.
Tumbling Tuesdays. But this one, there'll be misogyny jokes and patriarchy jokes all over the place with this one. But it's still a pretty serious one. And just as a preview, it's definitely one of those instances where we're watching this in particular order, but it's not the air date order.
Yeah.
And this one is clearly aired right after the pilot because you can tell by the costumes. No red shirts.
Yeah.
I live again for another. My clone lives again for another week.
Yeah, he wears a sweater, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're wearing the sweater.
sweater.
And what our red shirts are kind of off beige shirts.
Yeah.
Anyway, and no bones. Anyway, okay. Similarly, no one who's watched an episode of Prodigy has a negative. Everybody
Progeny.
I've heard Prodigy has a negative. They all say negative things. Only you say positive things because you're fucking chills. Everybody hates it because it's retarded. I mean, I'm not the biggest Kathy fan in the world. I like her earlier on than I do later on in Voyager, but this show does her dirty, from what I understand. Prodigy does Kathy Janeway dirty. It's terrible.
See, I don't like Janeway at all, but they still shouldn't be fucking with old school canon.
Yeah, I like her before she starts just leaving a wake of destruction throughout the Delta Quadrant.
I liked her when she was a giant salamander banging Tom Paris.
That is funny. Hey, Warp 10, a price comes for Warp 10, okay? A price comes for it. However, Discovery was not so lucky because the series dared to do something different for Star Trek. At the very least, it helped remind reluctant fans of the fact that what they wanted from the franchise was something more familiar. The series and its characters are quintessential Star Trek, deserving of respect on merits alone.
Shut
Yet
your
even the
mouth.
most recalcitrant fan has to admit that without Star Trek Discovery, the franchise may have died after Star Trek Beyond failed to make money. Okay, that's a lot to dissect. First of all, Star Trek Beyond is the Kelvin timeline. Nobody likes the Kelvin timeline. We don't care about it. We wanted it to fail. We wanted it to fail so we could get away from it. Understand that. 2, and I've only watched reviews of STD seasons 1 and 2 because then the guys I watched stopped reviewing it for season 3 and 4 or partway through season 3 and didn't touch 4. Except I do know about Planet Earth, Stacey Abrams. I know about that. I mean,
Stacey
Samuel
Abrams placed Planet Earth in the show.
She was Planet Earth.
President Earth, Planet Earth, tomato,
Whatever. She's fat. She's fat.
She's just seen there floating in air with the continents taped on her.
And
well, I mean, budget issues, right?
Yeah. And those teeth, just big enough space to fly all of Starfleet through. And I got no shame.
Yeah.
No
Her
shame.
head's like Luna Station.
She is so hyped up
Now-
for somebody who just keeps failing.
I know. I mean, perennial failure. Now, Samuel could speak to more on the details of STD than I can, but to say that these characters are worth merit, that they reserve respect on their merits. No, they're a bunch of crybaby, unprofessional morons, and Mikey Burnham is perhaps one of the worst characters ever created for television.
The only character I didn't watch past season 2. Most of what I remember about season 2 involved Michael Burnham's estranged or absentee mom or whatever, and an Iron Man suit that for some
I know
reason
about
is in the
that.
franchise now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Spock's dyslexic and all of his problems stem from
He's her stepbrother.
being. Yeah, well, that's not why though. Her being his stepbrother, and which is first of all, that's a misnomer. She's a ward of Sarek and Amanda, not their actual kids. So that the whole stepbrother thing, that's a bit of a stretch. But she's credited with being the only reason his dyslexia and his identity crisis due to being half folk and half human didn't rip him apart.
Oh, God.
And it's just, but that's all I remember from
That's
season
enough.
2.
That's
Season
enough.
1, The only character that was worth a damn from season 1 was Captain Lorca, the white guy, who, as it turns out, was from the mirror universe and
I
not
know
a
that.
good dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't watch past episode 1. I watched the free one, and then I said, I'm not paying for that shit.
I never
Played
even
by Jason
watched it.
Isaacs.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs, good actor. I never watched it because once I heard prequel, I was out. I was out of the word prequel. It's like, why are we going backwards in time? Why am I not going forwards? And why are we doing another thing set in an era where all the great stories have been told?
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing is like, this is the era that it's set in is between Enterprise and TOS.
Yeah.
Right. In that kind of nebulous exploratory, you know, where the Federation's really gaining ground as a power, you know, in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Kind of time, which is fine. I mean, I guess you know, it's like we all know where that ends up. It ends up with you know, Kirk and McCoy and Spock, you know. But it's kind of in that time. Like the Enterprise takes place like 100 years before Kirk and Spock, but
yeah,
it's I don't have a problem with prequels per se. I have a problem with prequels that completely dismantle and rewrite everything that comes after it, and then they're just like, oh, we're just going to memory hold that this ever happened.
Yeah,
that's the problem of that. Oh, sorry, Devil, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly. If you're gonna do a prequel, you have to go into it knowing you have a set defined parameters to you to not interfere with your original series or the original and stuff, the canon of it. And none of these studios respect that. None of them do. Every single time they do a prequel, they just shit on what came before it and say, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna change it because who gives a shit?" And then they're you know, their jaw hits the floor when they get backlash because of that. It's so I'm tired of it.
And that's exactly what happens though at the end of season 2, right? The Discovery and crew leap like 9,000 years into the future to get away from a not Borg threat that's totally the Borg, but they can't use it because obviously that would fuck up the timeline even more. And everybody who's left behind who knows about that ship's existence, right, which is Spock, Amanda Grayson, Sarek, handful of other people, all of them just take a solemn promise never to speak about it again.
But here's the thing. Like Devil said, they have no respect for it because they hate it. They hate the material, so they are perfectly happy to deconstruct it and ruin it and put their own stamp on it because they have to modernize it. And then at the same time, again, I've said this before. This is not new information. I don't like prequels because to me, when it's prequel, there are no stakes. We know where everything's going. The only thing I might like a prequel is maybe if we're getting something that's going to show us the details of a famous historical moment in that franchise, like Revenge of the Sith. Let's see the fall of Anakin. Let's see Mustafar. I was hoping we were going to, and hoping we would see the actual Jedi Purges, but we didn't get that. That's a different story, different. But I'm okay with that. But I don't want to see a prequel jammed into a period of time where whatever conflict you concoct has no stakes because it has to end in victory without too much damage. And just use Star Trek as an example, because Kirk and Spock still have to come around. We're still getting NCC 1701.
Well, I know that people aren't not many people are a fan of Enterprise, but at least it was a prequel that did right because they fit stuff into the original thing. Like they show how in the original the Klingons look so different. Remember Worf and the push one, and he's all we don't talk about it. In Enterprise, they explain why that happened, how that happened. It makes a connection that actually helped the overall story and stuff. that's the way you should do prequels, is trying to use this as an opportunity to lead into questions people had from the original or to help it out. So I always appreciated Enterprise, but I do see why people dislike it.
I agree with
I
you,
didn't-
Devil. I like Enterprise.
I didn't like the start of it. I got hooked during the Xindi arc. I was in
That's
New
when
York.
it took off.
I was in New York. I was at culinary school, and when the weekend hit, I had nothing to do because one, I had no money, and two, I didn't know anybody in New York, so I wasn't going out doing shit. But I would chill out. I had a nice Chinese place right across the street from where I was living. I could go in there. I would get some little beef lo mein, some beef fried rice, maybe some beef and broccoli. I'd shuttle back across, and on that night, it was either I think it was Friday night. I would get some SG-1, and then Enterprise was coming on, and the Xindi arc was interesting. So I had a nice little double feature that I could sit down and just chill out and eat some Chinese food and have a good evening.
You got your
'Cause
SG-1 with your MSG.
And I would kick your ass out of here for that one. No, but
I agree though, man. It's Enterprise. I liked Enterprise from the get. I even liked the theme song that they did for it and the opening entrance. No, look,
been a long time.
I didn't say it was good Star Trek theme. I like the theme. I also liked how they showed all the ships that had borne the name of Enterprise throughout history, leading up to where they got to. That was very cool.
Don't talk shit on Rod Stewart. Don't be there. That man's a treasure.
My show, I'll talk all the shit I want.
That mullet is a treasure. But he's but I did like it. But you're right. It was slow, and it was having trouble finding its footing for the first season and a half. I mean, honestly, they kind of all did.
True.
Once they got in a little bit more in depth with the temporal Cold War, which I admit there was so much potential to completely fuck the timeline with that, but I think that they did it right because their whole goal, at least our hero's goal, was to prevent changes to the timeline that would alter things. I mean, like they were trying to keep shit on track as part of the main storyline, and that leads directly into the Xindi conflict, which I think begins in halfway through season 2 or at the beginning of season 3. I forget which.
I think it was season 3 because I wasn't watching in season 2. I just remember they were showing the previews of the attack on Earth.
Right, and that happens in the last episode, I think, of season 2.
And that caught my attention because Enterprise was on still Paramount Network at this time, right? Or had it?
No, it was on UPN.
Oh, it was UPN. Well, yeah, UPN. Yeah. That was what Paramount Network became UPN. And somehow I saw the commercial for it while watching something else, and like I said, the Friday nights became okay. I'm going across the street because I just been in the freaking kitchen all day. It's time for me to chill out. I'm gonna get some Chinese food. I'm watching SG-1, and then I'm watching Enterprise because I saw this attack on Earth. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's something interesting. And now I'm into this, and here they are. They're out in the boonies of space. They have nowhere to go. They have the ship's falling apart. They have no allies. They're doing the best they can, and it was compelling. Mm-hmm. And that is the point. And it's far back enough. Good. And it's far back enough that it's not infringing on NCC 1701. It's not infringing on it.
Right. And at the beginning of the Xindi arc, they tell you where it's going to end up. The Xindi in canon timeline eventually join the Federation and are staunch allies of Federation races, but they go through this kind of teething period where millions of people get killed, and all that, and it was finding its footing in season 3 and 4. Season 4 is really good, but at that point the numbers had dropped so low because there was so little interest carried over from.
Yeah, I checked out right away after Xindi arc. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. So that after seasons 1 and 2, like there just weren't enough people watching to keep it going.
Yeah, and
this was back when ratings meant something.
Yeah, and they tried to say it was Star Trek fatigue, and I've never bought that. I've never been on board with that. I always believed that if they had managed to keep the momentum from the Xindi arc, they could have ended Enterprise instead of with End Program, which we all made fun of. We all made fun of that.
Well, I think they suffered the same fate that Stargate Universe later did. It was I think it was because it was a little too outside
Yeah.
of what Trek fans had come to expect.
Yeah.
And that a lot of that is why it failed.
And for me, I always felt the mistake was we haven't continued the pushing the timeline forward.
Mhm.
And
yeah, again, that's unfortunate because as it turns out, and I know there are people who disagree with me on this, but season 2 of Stargate or the second half of season 1, rather, there was one season
picked
of
up
Stargate Universe is really good.
No, they got season 2. It was season 2. There was season
Oh, right.
2.
Yeah, so it's really
found their
good,
footing.
and it ends in a great fucking cliffhanger, but it wasn't enough to save them. Same thing
Yeah.
happened with Enterprise. It got really good, but by then there just weren't enough people watching to save it.
Because I mean, with Universe, I've always felt, and we've talked about this before, they broke the pattern of Stargate storytelling, and they moved away from the certain flavor of what we all expected and wanted, and they managed to get a fresh flavor they found their footing. Like we said, they found their footing in season 2. They managed to actually find a rhythm, but as you said, it was too late. A lot of people were checking out because it wasn't what they wanted. We wanted the next adventure in the Milky Way galaxy, not out on the outer reaches of another rando galaxy.
I don't think it was so much the location as it was the style had changed. They were taking cues from another show at the time that was very successful, BSG.
Yeah.
Right. They were taking cues from a lot of sci-fi at the time was leaning into this grittier, darker, grainy film.
That's why I didn't like BSG. I'm not a BSG fan. Reboot.
I am, but it's not the same thing as Stargate. It's not the same thing as Star Trek. It's its own thing, and that had to be taken into account. These the showrunners of SGU were trying to basically capitalize on the success of another franchise's show, which is what came with all the stylistic changes and the it was more graphically violent.
It was also visually
sexual.
Dark too.
It was very much so. I mean, they kind of explain that in the story because like the lights aren't working. It's not that they don't have them; they just don't work, which is fine. But I think that it turned so many people off. Yeah, and it didn't have the same kind of humor in it. It didn't have a Shepard. It didn't have an O'Neill.
And we have to be honest that the crew of the Destiny were not likable at all.
Yeah,
not likable, and that was part of it. There was nobody to latch onto, nobody to root for. And
it was supposed to be Eli. Eli was the everyman. He was the audience. He was the audience's eyes.
Yeah. It's just no. I forgot what I was going to say. So we'll move on to the article. I know. I'm sorry. Wrong side. Stupid. All right. Star Trek always works best as a TV series, and Discovery was its most cinematic. Really? After the United Paramount Network's failure, UPN, brought the end to Enterprise, it seemed like Star Trek had finally run out of dilithium. Oh, shut up. God, that's a terrible joke. The movies included the classic characters from the TOS, yet time travel angle meant these weren't the characters fans knew well. The movies didn't allow for enough time for audiences to fall in love with the new characters, at least not the way a TV series would. So when Discovery was announced, fans wondered if the series would be set in the Kelvin timeline. Instead, it was revealed as part of the Prime timeline, which they have now changed.
Yep.
They have now changed because they always knew it wasn't that. They tried to convince us it was. They tried to get us on board with that. And I mean, if this had been successful, it would be the Prime timeline. They wouldn't have changed that.
Oh yeah.
The only part of that gets me, and this is just like nerd nitpicking, really, is that the Kelvin timeline happened when the USS Kelvin went back and did its thing with the Narada, or the Narada went back and did its thing with the USS Kelvin and changed the course of history from that point forward. This takes place before that.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, it requires somebody knowing that to let us know that. I have memory hold and that's rare for me. Most of that first Jar Jar movie, because I hated it, and I realized it isn't Star Trek. It's just it would have been fine. It's just some rando sci-fi movie.
But this didn't happen before the Calvin timeline broke, right? Because when it broke, Kirk was just born. In this, by the time Strange New Worlds, Kirk is a young man. So wouldn't this be in between when the Calvin timeline did the break and Kirk coming on? I mean, it doesn't fit because the movie.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Vulcan's still there in Discovery.
Yeah.
But so is young Spock. So yeah, but he's an
that's
adult.
The problem.
He's not a boy.
Kelvin timeline was such a goddamn mistake, and when that's classic Jar Jar. Oh, I'm gonna do my thing. Oh, I'm a real fan. No, you're not. You're a fake fan of everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. None of the timeline actually lines up with anything. It's all over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's I think that is your main point in this. But if they wanted to try and tell us, oh, this is prime timeline, this is the real thing. It never was going to be. It was never going to be because it was rejected immediately. Nobody wanted this as a prequel to TOS. Still, from a cinematic visuals to its heavy serialized story, it had a similar feel to the films. Now, I'm not against serialization because I liked it in DS9, but this is, from what I know, it was a disaster.
I don't
the character's
think
terrible.
I don't think Discovery ever addressed the fact that the NCC 1701 was still using, paper in their printers. Just saying.
Yeah. I love that. The biggest complaint about the movies was how they lacked the spirit of the shows. How about they lacked any relevancy or respect for Star Trek or logic of Star Trek? I'm sorry. Transporting from a planet to the Enterprise, which is in warp. How far away? 9+. That was the dumbest thing in the goddamn world. I don't care how much of a genius Scotty is. No, retarded. So retarded.
If anybody could have figured that out, it would have been Scotty. But he'd have to sit down for fucking weeks to figure that shit out.
The physics. The Enterprise was long gone in Jar Jar Land. It's long gone. You're not transporting with that distance. It's stupid.
So even then, you're transporting to a specific set of coordinates in space-time, while the Enterprise, which is at warp, is not staying at that specific set of coordinates in space-time. So at the very least, you're getting left behind in empty space. At the worst, you're getting your atoms scattered across the fucking universe.
Because you have to actually, the whole thing about transporter technology for the non-deep nerds and airs is it's literally breaking you apart, saving your data in the computer, and then rebuilding you. That's how transporters
in
work.
A stationary location.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way I equate it is try jumping onto a moving freight train. It's about the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
You end up fucked.
It's ridiculous. All right. The first season of Discovery, however, also ran. Oh, sorry, Mr. Sentence there. Specifically, the hopeful and aspiration quality of humanity's future. You mean, isn't STD all about women yelling at men? Isn't that part of its core?
Unless they're gay.
Yeah, or black and gay. I don't know.
So what they do for that instead is that they kill off one of the gay men, and then they resurrect him with some bullshit involving space fungus, and then he cries about it and is super pissy with the guy who he was gay with because he's alive again.
I think I'm dumber for having heard that.
Yeah, I had to watch it.
Oh my god. The first season of Discovery, however, also ran counter to that. The inciting incident in Starfleet's first mutiny, led by Mikey Burnham, as it kicks off the War of Klingons. Isn't she famous for doing everything wrong and being promoted for it?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. She gets her captain killed because she goes against orders, and she ends up starting a war that lasts for the entire first fucking season with the Klingon goddamn Empire, who, as we all know, take to that sort of shit as like fish to water. And I mean, she's responsible for a lot of death,
Yeah,
a lot of it.
she is the
And
Grim
so that-
Reaper.
Yeah, they actually put her in on a transport to prison in like the first or second episode because she started a fucking war and she went against orders. She got her captain killed and a bunch of other fucking people right out of the gate. And then, the ship that she's being transported on gets destroyed. Or somehow her cell survives and the force fields that keep it intact are still working. So she's just kind of floating in space until somebody comes along, finds her and rescues her, which I don't know. You guys know a thing or two about space and dimensions and how big and extremely improbable that would be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not like there was a black box attached to the cell, but
That's why when we get to Space Seed, that's why it's such a great episode, because the randomness of finding the Botany
Yeah.
Bay.
But
It's just,
she gets rescued by Lorca on the Discovery, and he's like, "Yeah, so we've been at war for weeks. It's your fault, and I'm going to put you to work."
all right, it
And
didn't matter.
she keeps failing up from there. Yeah,
I know, and getting people killed and being girl boss, but
crying. She cries a lot.
she
She
cries.
makes Ash Ketchum look like downright stoic.
Oh wow! But she's got the SJW haircut in those first couple seasons and attitude to go with it. So hey, she can be brave, bold, and black. I guess. Yeah, I said it. It didn't matter that this war was part of the establishment canon because fans felt it was too dark for Star Trek. We just explained why it was crap. Of course, if it had been like Strange New Worlds or previous series, fans likely would have complained it was too similar to fuck you. Fuck you. It's that same old, oh, you nerds are never going to be happy with anything. You're not, to an extent, yes, we're always going to find something to nitpick, but when something works, our nitpicks are loving nerd nitpicks.
Yeah.
It's not ripping apart the show. All I've ever heard when it comes to STD is tearing apart its structure, its framework, its inability to actually get Star Trek right. I've never heard the nitpicks like we were doing at the end of Picard season 3, where we're going, maybe, what do you like pump action phaser and stuff like that. We it was the nerd nitpicking. We're having a good time. We're talking about the show. Nobody's having a good time talking about STD except the disco tards. Those are the only ones who are having a good time, and they're mentally deficient.
I'm gonna start calling them the cephaloids.
Therefore, to say you nerds are never going to be happy, that's that fake nerd or the condescending person who's standing on high going, oh, you nerds need to be guided correctly to understand your shows that you love so much. Let us tell you.
Obviously, they don't understand what a nerd is. Nerds nitpick.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah. We're salty. We're cranky. We're going to find something to be annoyed by. We're never going to universally love something. But in the end, we're still all fans of it. And we're going to have a nerd fight or two. But once we get it out of our system, we're okay.
It's like remember that everybody remembers Galaxy Quest, when the kids who are like, what's his name? The kid who helps him at the end.
Yeah, who knows everything.
And he walks up to him. He says, now, how does this? And he starts to ask him a question about the ship when he's all pissed off. That's what we do. Nerds will sit there and they'll try to figure shit out because they're so passionate about it that's what you do when you're passionate about something. You want to learn about it. You want to understand it. You want to think. That comes from a good place, not a bad place. But with the modern, cinema and stuff, that's what they think. You actually trying to figure the shit out is somehow, you just have to accept what we do, consume it, and then consume the next thing we bring up.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, they view that shit like a war crime. It's just like, how dare you find a flaw in my seemingly flawless plan? You will never be happy. You must enjoy my thing. It's like, no, I don't.
I'm Shakespeare in this. Love what I write.
Even Shakespeare ripped shit off.
Yeah, but he was
constantly. Actually,
You're fucking Jerry Shakespeare, man.
The only choice the storytellers had to make was to do something wildly different. Unfortunately, the loudest voices were the ones criticizing the show for it. That's them insinuating the loudest was the minority. That's their insinuation, when in fact the majority despises this. Arguably, those fans judged the series too harshly. Disco was stepped on. Well, was steeped. Sorry, steeped. I can read. I'm not Dermy. Was steeped with Star Trek lore, from the return of Mirror Universe to the introduction of Captain Pike, Spock, and the Enterprise season 2. Okay.
Oh no, Adam, they need an editor. That says stepped.
Okay, you're right. I did say stepped. I corrected it myself because
no, you corrected it to the correct word, but they misspelled that. Yeah,
garbage tier. Okay, good. See, I thank you, Samuel.
This is CBR, the article, right?
Yeah. We're 3 hours in. I'm starting to be jelly here, so I'm making sure I'm not getting punch drunk. But here's the thing: introducing Mirror Universe, introducing Enterprise, Pike, Spock. That's damage control. First of all, Mirror Universe was season 1. That was their attempt to look like Star Trek nerds.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: is that even in the old stuff, barring the original series, the Mirror Universe only ever comes into play when they're worried that the ratings are going to flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's be honest, TNG never did do Mirror Universe, did they? TNG ever did it?
I don't think they did. No, but
the closest we got was Worf jumping from alternate realities. That's the closest we ever got to that. The only one now, DS9 dove head first into Mirror Universe.
Yeah,
and they did it really well. Sexy Evil Kira was awesome.
I mean, yeah.
And there's that famous scene of alternate reality Dax where Terry Farrell's just in that white shirt with no bra on, and it's just all there. It's all there for the glory.
Yeah, Kira was so horny. She wanted
that Kira, she was gay, but she wasn't averse to a little D. She went a little bit the other way too, but she was super gay.
I don't think she was that particular about.
She was all
about who
she was all over the place,
but she was fucking somebody.
She liked Sisko's dick.
But remember when regular Kira crossed over, she wanted to do herself.
Oh yeah, that was kind of
because she was that woman was a straight up pervert.
Yeah,
she pulled a Dermy.
Oh,
she was Dermy if Dermy was hot.
Wait, no. You just put the idea that Dermy would have sex with him, an alternate reality version of himself.
I think he's mentioned that. I think he's actually said that.
Oh my!
He's asked us the question. He's all, "Would you do it with yourself? Is that gay?" Or I can't remember what he was talking about, but I was all, "Yeah, dude, it's very gay."
Yeah, it somehow manages to be both masturbation and gay.
I kind of feel like I was there for that. Maybe I've purposefully blocked out that memory. I don't know, and that has to be something if I memory hold it, because I like to remember everything. I wish I could memory hold a lot of things, but I can't. I feel like I've heard this part before. Oh my god damn it, Derby.
But in the case of in the case of Mirror Universe Kira, she wasn't gay per se. She just wasn't picky.
She was really a sexual deviant. Let's just say that she was a sexual deviant. Anyway, no. So Mirrorverse was attempt to pretend to be fans, and rest of that stuff that's damage control to try and say, oh look, we like Star Trek. Look, here's stuff and all that's doing is then butchering stuff From short treks, which I remember being universally despised by everybody, to Strange New Worlds, the adventures of Mikey Burnham and the USS Discovery crew brought Star Trek back with stunning visuals and the moral and political dilemmas the franchise known for. Oh, no, I'm sorry. And this is the common mistake that these far-left assholes make when they break this down. Original Trek brings you the entire argument from both sides. And then leaves it
and
to
they
you
don't tell you which one's right or wrong. They let you decide.
Yeah.
Exactly. STD.
Also,
it's all far left, and everybody who disagrees with them is evil.
Yeah. Also, in terms of the what did it say? It said the stunning visuals. I mean, I'm sure they would have been if they turned the fucking lights on.
It's garbage tier CGI too. It's nothing special.
I mean, maybe turn the lights on a little bit, maybe dial down the lens flare.
Oh God.
You know, it could have been pretty, but it was hard to see anything except lens flare.
Well, it's Kurtzman, and who is his big daddy? Jar Jar. Where am I? Lost my place. It just stretched out over a season without the high quality work of the right. Oh my God. I've heard about the writing quality of this, the high quality work of the writers, directors, and performers on Discovery. Paramount might have given up altogether. Newsflash, they have given up. I've heard that seasons 3 through 4, the budget was nothing. They gave them no money because they knew they had a stinker, but they probably had a contract with freaking Bad Reboot that they couldn't get out of it, and Kurtzman wanted to keep doing it.
Yeah,
Them canceling season
Kurtzman
5.
got set up pretty nice
Yeah.
for himself there. They
Yeah.
you know, he's going to be making money on this in perpetuity, and there's nothing anybody can do to fucking put a stop to that. I will give the writers, and in particular the writers who actually researched anything, a little bit of credit. While I do think that the idea of the special drive that the Discovery has that allows it to traverse the mycelial network or whatever, is kind of dumb. A lot of the stuff they talked about in terms of the mycelial network and about how spores actually work and stuff is based in real science. There is a wild fucking rabbit hole that you could go down and about how fungus works and exists and moves through the known universe and parts unknown. That is absolutely based in real world science. And I will give them credit for at least looking into that. But where they went with it was fucking retarded.
Oh, okay. All right, and now here comes the politics of it. And Legatus, I don't know about that. If they had to sell stuff, I have no idea. Discovery was hampered by bad faith criticism. While some fans legitimately brushed up against some Star Trek Discovery storytelling, the series was also met with bad faith critique. Despite Star Trek always being woke, go
bullshit,
fuck yourself. That is the cop-out argument they always make. It was always woke. No. Was it progressive? Yes. But we already told you it gave all points of view. And
look, here's the difference, right? Progressive ideals, yes, obviously it embodied a lot of the ideals that Roddenberry himself had. And that he wished to see. He obviously had a utopic vision for humanity, which unfortunately can never happen. But you know, it's like the man was looking forward. He was trying to come up with ideas that would literally better everybody, not just in Fantasyland and whatnot. But the thing is the difference between his progressive ideals being obviously saturated throughout Star Trek and woke is that woke beats you over the head with it until you fucking agree or die.
And also, this is classic progressivism where you're just trying to move society for a little bit, not the hijacked version that we got in the 90s and the 2000s that became the far left woke movement we have now.
Yeah. See, Roddenberry allowed for disagreement. He allowed for dissension. He allowed for free will.
Yep.
This doesn't.
Yeah. So again, this is the hackneyed, lame, undefendable argument that Star Trek was always woke. So that's bullshit. The usual suspects on here we go. The usual suspects on social media and YouTube. That would be us, who they're referring to. Us, our sphere of YouTube. Thank you. Lamented at the diverse cast, empowered whammons, and long overdue inclusion of Alphabet Mafia characters. All right.
Bull crap.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Diverse. We already had a black captain. Girl captain. We've already had those. We have no problem with that. It's when you force feed it into bad characters and then sit there and say you have to love these characters because of that. You have to love her because she's a woman. You have to love her because she's black, and you have to love her because this and that. You can't. That's the difference. But to sit there and say that somehow we were all like, Cisco being black makes him weak. Bullshit. He's one of the best captains.
He's by the time you get to season 3 and he's Captain Cisco and he goes from Cisco with hair to Hawk from Spencer for Hire. When
Yeah.
I loved it when that happened. When he became Hawk from Central Power, I knew I was about to be in for a wild ass ride. I knew things were really going to pick up then. If you guys don't
And
remember
they
Avery
did.
Brooks, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, we remember Avery Brooks
Yeah.
has been around
Avery
in
Brooks
cinema and
was
television for a long time.
Yeah. He was with on Spencer for Hire as the Hawk, badass Hawk, carried a big ass gun, kicked a ton of ass. Oh, so Spencer, my man. Oh, Avery Brooks was badass. When he went Hawk, when I knew they had figured it out on DS9. That's when I knew they'd figured it out, and I realized, oh, here we go.
Avery
And
Brooks is the only reason I watched American History X the first time. As it turns out, it's a very good movie. But that he's why I watched it.
Yeah, and Avery Brooks became a fantastic anchor for the show. That's why these shows succeed. That's why TOS succeeds, because Shatner was the anchor and he nails it. TNG succeeds because Patrick Stewart was the anchor, held it together, got it forward, and Avery Brooks became the anchor and got DS9 on it going because you liked Cisco. Cisco became a badass. I'm not Picard. Boom! We'll punch Q in the face.
You hit me. Picard never hit me.
Yeah, I mean that he is his own captain, and it's
He's
great.
not just his own captain, though. I mean, he's a single father, but he's a good father, right?
Yes.
He cares about the people under his command. He cares about Bajor. He even, to a lesser extent, obviously, because they're the bad guys for the first part of the series, cares about the Cardassian people. He's a good man who is, excuse me, forced into some very difficult situations.
Especially because he's not a particularly religious man, and he becomes a major religious icon for the Bajoran people, which he resists forever. But eventually, he comes to love it, and not being a religious icon, but he comes to love the Bajoran culture, and he accepts it, and he's happier for it because it brings a wealth of love into his life and appreciation for good things, especially during the middle of a horrible war that ensues. And Cisco was fantastic.
You remember that episode where him and Jake took some time off and they built that
the sail,
solar glider,
solar sail, yeah.
And I mean that was just an episode about a father and a son on a sailing trip, and it was really good.
DS9 managed to do a lot of things better that I wish that TNG had done. Take those throwaway single episodic moments of episodes that have nothing to do with anything else and just give us a fun episode. One of my favorite ones is when Bashir gets trapped in his favorite spy holodeck with everybody else in there and they all get reprogrammed. I love that episode because it's just something fun. And that's what I had wished they had done on TNG. I kind of wish that the whole Moriarty thing with Data hadn't become a giant threat to the Enterprise. I wish it had just been Data on a Sherlock Holmes adventure. All right, Bug, you got to bounce?
Yeah, I got like 15 minutes anyways.
All right. Yeah, all right. Anytime we go, that's fine. We're once we're done with this article, we're gonna wind down anyway. We're over the 3-hour mark. We have gone down the many rabbit holes. Well, all right, so this is all bullshit. And again, the favorite thing, long overdue alphabet representation. I'm just gonna say this, Riker, I love you. To the asexual people.
Yep.
No, I all over the place. Beverly having to, when we first get introduced to the Trills, being to decide, can I love you? Do I love the symbiote or do I love the person? I mean, separate. Or when Dax gets reunited with people from her past her past host lives. So passionate. It's everywhere. But no, these people never watch this shit. They never watch.
Well, and none of it's interesting. I mean, you remember that time that Dax found out that there was an eighth life,
and
that eighth life was a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, and even though it's then an Ezri episode later when she has to tap into that to
stop the other killer.
Yeah, stop another killer
with the gun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or Yeah, or even going to Voyager, there was an episode of where oh, now I can't remember his name. The guy who played Greenman Wormtongue and is the voice of Chucky.
I know. Yeah, when they
yeah. So he played Brad Dourif. He plays a Betazoid, a full blood Betazoid, mind you, fully telepathic, who is also a serial killer, and Tuvok mind melds with him to figure out what's wrong with him, and it fucking affects him. Right, he becomes more like the killer.
Or you have a great sociological episode when what's her name, the engineer on Voyager, B'Elanna, when Torres gets pregnant in the final season, and she's so against her Klingon heritage, she starts genetically modifying her child because they discover that it's going to have a spinal problem, so they correct it. But then the doctor says, "Oh, we can correct other things," and she starts trying to remove all the Klingon DNA because of her own bad past experiences being a half breed. That's a great study of be proud of who you are. Don't shy away just because you look different. It's not a curse. It could be. It's something good. These things. It's all right there.
Well, right,
for
and
their
it also taps
diversity
into
and bullshit.
The moral implications of doing that kind of thing to the unborn, of tampering with genes, of designer kids.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it touched on a lot of stuff, and you know, these were great stories.
And when you do that, the old school Trek fans going to start thinking about the eugenics wars, because that was eugenics. That's the altering of DNA to make a superior man,
which was 100% outlawed after the fact, which is why Bashir ended up, well, partially because they didn't think that Bashir was that interesting, but they added in this thing about him
and it made him more interesting.
It did.
One of my favorite moments is once it's revealed and him and Miles always play darts. It's basically, okay, you got to go stand over there now when we're playing darts. You have to go stand 10 yards back when we're doing this. Because we learned that for 5 years, Bashir had been holding back. He'd been throwing matches. I mean, this is what Star Trek is about. It's not about your fucking diversity inclusion. It's not about your representation, your whammons. It's not about that. It was already there. And if you talk about like it wasn't there, it means you've never watched it and you don't know Star Trek. Star Trek
wrote good characters. New Trek only has caricatures.
I mean, we were just talking about it. Let's go back here. They talk about talking about TOS, the half black, half white stuff, blah blah. It was already there. It was already there. I'm still those who accuse the show of being too dark may have been onto something. Star Trek always reflects the present day. Here it comes. We got to modernize it. Bullshit. You don't timeless for a reason. All right. We're done with this. This is all bullshit. They're trying to defend the show. We have shown you how indefensible their point is. We've shown you these people do not respect Star Trek. They don't understand it. All Kurtzman saw was a vehicle for their agenda, and a vehicle in Kurtzman's case also to make himself rich on the back of something that he didn't build and he didn't improve. Because that's one thing you can say. Yes, Gene Roddenberry was alive when TNG started, but he died halfway through. He died when they were releasing the Spock episodes, and I remember when it came up in loving memory of Gene Roddenberry. I was like, oh shit, he died? Because I was a kid. I didn't have access to media. I didn't know Gene Roddenberry died. Here's oh shit, Gene Roddenberry died. He was there. But then the people who were left, and again, to say that we missed the days of Brandon Braga and everyone there, those who left, they still understood the spirit. And they carried on.
In no small part to Major Roddenberry, when she stuck around and she made sure they stayed on task.
Yeah. Major Barrett Roddenberry was a huge force in keeping it on there. And I will say this unashamedly, every season, whenever it was a Loaxana episode, always a favorite episode. Always love a Loaxana episode. They were always good. Always a lot of fun.
Poor Odo. She Herbert too.
Yeah.
That was touching at the end, though.
Yeah,
it was very.
But either way, it was carried on. until those who did it weren't there anymore. And then you have the Kurtzman era, the bad reboot spawn, and the identity politics, the agenda-driven assholes who come in and see this nothing but a vehicle to push their activism crap on people who aren't asking for it, on people who are just wanting to sit down, watch some Star Trek, and be entertained. All right, I'm done. We can get rid of this now. My throat's
Come watch
starting to
Star
go.
Trek Engage, where we revel in good Trek.
And we have fun
gay
doing
jokes.
it. We have a lot of fun doing it. Much to hijabi gamers' dismay. We have a lot of fun doing it.
Before we get out, I have a question I wanted to throw to everybody.
Sure.
I'm doing this week on Get Ranked is board games. I've got a big list, but I was wondering, should I put Battleship, Connect 4? Now, I always put these with board games, but are they really board games, or should I leave them off?
No, I put Battleship on there. That's an iconic
Battleship's
game.
a board game, yeah.
Yeah, especially because the original one, it's technically a board. It's just shaped, and you have to do anything. Now, I got to the electronic Battleship. That shit was really weird. When we get to, and eventually when it stopped working, we just played regular Battleship on it because the electronic stuff stops working eventually. But yeah, I'd put Battleship on there. It counts. Now, Connect 4.
What about?
I think Connect 4 is probably borderline if you're looking at technically whether or not it's a board game. But I think that, like, as kids, it didn't really matter to us. We thought of it as a board game.
Yeah.
What
about Mousetrap?
Oh, Mousetrap's definitely a board
That's
game.
a board game. It's a predictable board game, but it's a board game.
Okay.
I didn't play that one too often. That wasn't one of the often ones I played. I didn't have that one. That's why it wasn't in the house. So it was not on the rotation.
All right.
We played a lot of
Battleship.
Sorry and chess in my house. So
yeah.
It was Monopoly, and I always kept quitting because I got tired of losing money. I was just like, screw this shit.
Monopoly we played Ruthless Monopoly in my house. It was ruthless.
You just don't get good board games anymore. Like when we were kids, that's why all the board games that were still popular have been around for so long, because you really had to think a good game. Now all the games you see board games wise are like because of movies. You know, a movie's coming out and they'll make some adaptation of
variation
another game to that. Yeah.
I mean, the last Monopoly set I had was a Star Wars OT and PT Monopoly one, and that was the last one I had, and that was a long ass time ago. The miniatures that came with it were really good, though.
I think I've got a collector's edition Batman set of Monopoly, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
By Wayne Enterprises.
yeah. It's. I think Wayne Enterprises is Park Place and Boardwalk is the Batcave.
Oh, nice.
Hey man, I'll save this for the possible because I might be on Get Ranked if Devil needs me this weekend. I might be there. I'll save my Monopoly strategies for then because that was my Monopoly. There's so many strategies to winning at Monopoly. Classic Monopoly, not whatever weird versions they got now. Classic Monopoly. So many strategies to winning at that. That's a timeless game. It's timeless. It's great. All right, we just got this. $500 free part. I'll be $500 in the middle or not if you land on a certain point. Yes or no?
We used to do 200, not 5.
Oh, we put 500 in the middle. I forget what it was you landed on. I think if you land on free parking, you got the $500 in the middle. I think. That's
if you land on free parking, but if you land in jail, like you start out with 200 in the middle, but if you land in jail, you also get fined like $100 or whatever. So it just the pot keeps growing, and then whoever ends up on free parking gets a fuckload of money.
That's an interesting thing. We never did that. We just would put the 500 in there and free parking get it. We never had paying fines. That's an interesting addition. That had never occurred to me. Wow, that's cool. I like that. That's good. Anyway, all right, guys. So we are going to wrap it up here. I want to thank the boys for coming out tonight. Let's go around the horn, talk your stuff. Devil, you started to say it. Tell us about Beelzebub.
Yeah, come watch Get Rank every Sunday on Beelzebub. Go subscribe. I needs people, and follow me on Twitter at Nalik3.
All right.
Sacrifice your goats on a weekly basis to praise me.
Yes.
Well, he needs to keep his strength growing because any moment now there'll be a Dermy struggle session, and Dermy's going to be topless. because he lost his
Yeah.
lofty pole that he created.
He created that whole situation. I'm avoiding his channel all week.
Yes. Fortunately, I'm asleep when that happens. So, Devil, you're on your own. Well, Kenzo will be there to help you out, I'm sure. Mr. Bug, what's going on with you?
Not too much. I've just making edits. Talking about my adventures with Superman and just crapping all over that piece of shit. Good times. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Bug. Nothing else in the works except maybe a eventual review of my adventures with Superman. So I can actually put a video up on my channel for once.
I gotta ask you this: that Council of Low is shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh no. It's like it's basically Rick and Morty. That's all it is. It's just
that. I saw that. Thought, what the? Oh god.
Makes no sense.
They dared to reference. I saw in their Hall of Lois's Deanie Timverse Lois. They dared.
And it doesn't make it makes like no sense given the way these Loises are like gun ho and ready to like pop a cap in Clark. Just.
Oh man, well, you make a lot of people angry with that. They don't like
a fact I'm very proud of.
I know, that's a badge of honor. All right. Samuel the Infamous, what's going on with you?
All kinds of stuff lately, actually. But first, before I get into that, I do want to say that the whole Council of Ricks things is already a ripoff of the Council of Reeds from Marvel.
Mm-hmm. You are correct, sir.
But that said, you can find me on my channel, Samuel the Infamous. We do panel live streams. Got one on Friday night, Abyssal Musings. Got one Saturday afternoon, Screaming into the Void. Got Star Trek Engage on Sundays. And this week, actually, I am the featured guest on the Netters Network channel here on YouTube for Thursday Things. So that should be interesting.
Nice. Cool beans, man. And if you're here, you already know who I am. But if you aren't, your first timer, I am Adam the Renaissance Nerd. This is my channel right here on YouTube. Follow me on X Twitter at the Ren Nerd. Let's get those numbers up so I can get some of that Elon money eventually. Tomorrow night is Tuesday. I don't do much on Tuesday. It's kind of a day for me with all the shows that go on. I just try to fit a video in here and there. There will be a real video tomorrow, maybe an edited video from tonight out there as well. Wednesday, Natural 20. We're going to keep it at the regular start time of 7:30 this week while the poll is still going. I don't know what I'm going to complain about yet. It's too early in the week. Thursday, maybe a Natural 20 at night. We are about, what is it today? We are 10 days away from gaming streams returning with Armored Core 6. Getting on my PS5. We're going to lock into that and basically beat giant mech shooting shit. It's going to be fun. Fridays, unfortunately, Ballbusters. Dirty Wormy's channel. We do have a special guest this week. I'm pretty sure we do, but it is not my place to announce it, so I will leave that until Jeremy says it by Wednesday. Maybe I'll be able to make it public by then. But we will be there. We will be giving Jeremy a hard time because he deserves it. And then on Saturday, I've already announced it, and Devil Made Me Do It will be joining us for Saturday Night Drive-In and Tombstone.
Nice.
Hell yeah, Tombstone. I think we also be joined by Mustang Ride, a.k.a. Bard Stories, and, of course, my life partner, who cheats on me with the entire G&G house, Jed the Hollywood Scholar. I have to accept it at this point.
That philanderer.
Yeah, he's messing around. He was on Mario Kart tonight. Couldn't be bothered to come here. He's with his actual person. He's with Jeremy on he's the actual person. He has to do everything Jeremy says. He's on Cobra Cast probably right now as we speak. And then just
doesn't he work for Jeremy?
He does that. He
has to be there.
He produces. Jed produces. In all seriousness, jokes aside, Jed produces Cobra Cast. He has to. Of course, he's up at all hours because of that shit. Why is Harrison Ford trending? Is he dead?
It's possible.
When that happens. I got to check before we go out of here. Let's see.
Oh God! Don't tell me he crashed another fucking plane.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
Real quick while he's looking that up, because Brian didn't make it tonight because apparently his StreamYards has decided to die.
We're not having it. We didn't have any problems tonight. We're fine. Here,
yeah, I think it's mostly a weekend thing, or maybe it just hates Brian. That's
or it's the potato internet. It's the potato internet.
So because he didn't make it here, I feel like I have to give him a little bit of shout out. Hashtag tyranny hooker.
Yes, it is not spelled wrong. It is tyranny hooker. Yeah, Ryan, who is the center of Engage, and we're all simulcasting from that, except not me. And I tried valiantly today to get that. I just couldn't make the watchable, unalgorithmic triggered version work. I just couldn't do it. It's the audio.
We'll figure
plus
something out in the long run, man. But I appreciate
it.
the
It's
attempt.
the audio. It's the audio plus the video. I can make it work with just the video because I've done it with Rings of Power. But when the audio is in there, the algorithm will bing it no matter what. That's the problem. I did everything, all the little tricks that I've been taught or told, couldn't make it work. But we will be on Star Trek Engage on Sunday after the roundtable, 2 p.m. Eastern, where we will cover the week's events and destroy all the woke culture. And again, join me for all my regular takes, reviews, and eventual gaming. And we're coming up on review season, less than 10 days away from Ahsoka, less than a little over 2 weeks from One Piece TV and Wheel of Time Season 2. My brain is going to melt that week with all of them coming at me at once, but I will survive because I'm not Dermy. And that's what I am thankful for every single day. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks to the guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, while this is public, but always on an unlisted, on the playlist unlisted, you can always catch it there. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and we will catch you guys later. Have a good night or day, wherever you may be. Not everybody.
Gay.